Hey everyone who's watching, thanks for tuning in. Apologies, thanks for bearing with our couple-week delay for the holidays. Things were crazy, obviously, for everybody, but we are back, and as we get into the new year, we'll be streaming a lot more regularly and a lot more often. So look forward to that. As you can see, we're all kind of festive here in the background. Everybody's looking and feeling festive. If you saw in our post, we were fortunate enough for all of us to get together here in this house and celebrate Yule and the winter solstice together, which was great.
I hated every moment of it.
Yeah, all I did was complain. All I did was complain. And so, before we get into what happened last time on Dragon Ball Z, I guess we'll do a bit of a brief overview. I am Mikey. I am the Dungeon Master. This is a 5e homebrew campaign in the world of Evantris, entirely homebrew setting. We have a... Let me turn this down a little bit, just so I don't get... We have a level 7th party here. We're playing in 5th edition. We do a combination of rules as written, a few homebrew rules, a few rules as intended. Just kind of combination, so if there's anything that bothers you, just complain about it in the comments. And drop a page number if we're doing anything wrong. The DMG or the PHB, thanks. And so I guess just this is, we'll just start. Our party first joined together here in a ram cart heading north to a mining town for a variety of different reasons. And one of them was Rodek Stonehearth, played by Richie here. He's a mountain dwarf fighter, battle master. He had fled his homeland, which was in constant war with frost giants, with a huge mammoth horn that is carved from a mammoth tusk that is eternally frosty to the touch. He came looking for answers. We then have Ganji Stormscale, played by Scotes over here. He is a dragonborn, a bronze dragonborn war cleric, worshipper of Bahamut, and he had been tasked by his warlike, he's in part of the military, he's a military researcher. He was tasked by his government to go seek artifacts. His entire battalion was slaughtered in the swamps once arriving to the mainland, and he was the and he was the sole survivor, and he continued onward to continue to search for artifacts that can help his people's war. Next we have Sylvie Flickerwicket, played by Nikki here. She is a forest gnome warlock, patron of the Arc Fae. She had stumbled through a Fae crossing and met the Arc Fae Titania. She pledged her life in service to the Summer Court, in exchange got powers of a warlock. She has been investigating some Fae presidency, which had drawn her north. Next, we have Annulin Masquerade, played by Kelsey over here. She is a wood elf ranger. Her people had lived close to the Smolder Peak Mountains, which were where the main fire giant population live. Her village was raided. Her father was killed. Her mother was kidnapped, taken into slavery, and she is finding ways to help rescue her mother. Finally, we have Vandris Truestrike, played by Andy here on Skype. He is a bounty hunter from the city of Goldhaven, where our party now is. He had broken up with his previous band for reasons we don't yet know, but he had ventured forth after getting a high-paying job from the royal family from the city of Anzu to find a relic and to slay the dangerous tiefling sorcerer known as Orpheus Rhadamanthus. And they've come back to Goldhaven, where conveniently Orpheus has fled, where they seem. They found his safe house. They are on the lookout. They know that he has big plans. They found some strange tadpole creatures and strange experiments. But then they are kind of exploring and figuring out what to do. And then we'll get into last time on Dragon Ball Z. So last time, you guys started the campaign after defeating the Kraken hatchling as was summoned by Diadra and the Children of the Sea. You miraculously rescued Sheamus, although you noticed that his lungs seemed to be a little bit worse for wear given whatever Diadra was doing to him. He was coughing up, his breathing was getting shallower, and it was progressing. Ganji and Sully were able to detect that it was some kind of magic affecting his lungs, some kind of curse. And through some effort, Ganji was able to decurse and dispel, coughed up some black seawater, but he seemed to be in better health. You guys made your way back to the town, made your plans. You decided that while you awaited the Masquerade ball as set on by the Alchemist, Alphonse LeBlanc, you decided to pay a visit to the renowned artificer and one of the Silver Servants, one of the rulers of Gullhaven, Vito Velocinic, after Annulin and Sylvie had the idea to show their coin as given by the Bear King as an artifact and being a potential donor. They managed to secure a private meeting with him. After meeting with him and showing some of the relics that they had picked up in their previous adventures, he was very excited, and you guys went through and his private collection beneath his estate and saw all sorts of different relics looking what seemed to be related to the elemental plane of water. You saw things like a helmet, a trident, a big conch shell, and the like, and you parted ways with him, saying that you'd see him at the Masquerade, which is, I guess, where we are tomorrow evening. And so you are now in the streets of Noble Garden, the Noble District in Gullhaven. Any questions before we start? Okay.
No. So remember we saw that guy that ran away, like that shifty guy?
Yes. You said you also saw a shifty guy. What runned away?
Did that happen before or after we
Before.
went to Vito's? Before?
That happened before, yeah.
Because we decided not to turn back and to continue on with our course as if we didn't see him or as if, we didn't want to draw extra attention to ourselves.
Yep.
I think we should just retire and wake up the next day. Unless there's anything we specifically need to talk about.
I don't have my notebook, so I can't. So I don't. I think you're right. Honestly, at this point, we have our new armor, right? We did that. I brought that back.
At this point, we're basically just waiting for the Masquerade.
Mm-hmm.
Again, unless there's something specifically we need to discuss, which I don't think there is.
All right. Well, let's head back.
Okay. You guys make your way back to the Wit and Whimsy. When you make your way back to the rooms where Ganji and Rodek had been staying, you find Sheamus lying peacefully. He's sleeping, resting. Seems to be breathing a lot easier. When you found him, Lumi, who's Sylvie's pixie companion, reports that there's really no troubles at all, and you look around for the gentleman. I assume you don't see the gentleman that you had paid to keep watch, but you hear loud, roarious laughter and shouting from the room over, which you could probably guess that they're still gambling.
With all their new money.
Yeah.
Didn't I owe him? So I go in and then Sheamus is fine.
Yeah.
Seemingly.
Yeah. From what you can tell, he's sleeping peacefully in the bed.
I go over to Ganji and I say, "Can you make sure there's no more magic curses or anything?"
I can do my best. So I'll do a medicine check, I guess, to see.
Just make sure he's all right.
Yeah. Nice. 8.
8. You give him a little quick checkaroo, and he seems to be fine. He seems to be, he's obviously beaten up. He was shocked by, he was electrocuted by a kraken. That's not great. He was, coughing up seawater for who knows how long, and some horrible curse. But he seems to be on the mend, from what you can tell.
Didn't I say I would give the guy like an extra? What did I give him? Like 10 silver, like
20 gold, I think.
was it 20 gold?
Was it? I don't know.
I thought it might have been 10 gold before and 10 gold
Was it
after.
10
Yeah,
gold?
it was 10 gold
Okay,
before.
you're right. Okay. So anyway, I go over. It's a lot of gold. I go next door where he is, and I look. Is the door open?
No, it's closed.
Okay, I'll knock on the door.
The laughter and kind of shouting stops suddenly, and you hear some footsteps, and the door opens, and it's the same gentleman, the human with the scruffy, patchy beard, and he says, "You got my gold."
You did your job, lad. Here you are. Thank
He
you.
takes it, and he looks surprised, like, He's right. He's fine, right?
No, he's
Yeah,
just
okay,
fine.
great. It's like-
He did wonderfully.
Several moments later, you hear laughing and shouting, and they're back to rolling dice.
Alright, so I go back and I join the gang.
We clearly got our money's worth on that.
Right.
Nothing's
We
changed.
went through quite a lot for this one.
Bedtime.
So what time is it? It's late, right?
It's late.
Yes,
Okay.
it's late. It's
We were tired. Yeah. And I guess we'll sleep. Let's go tonight. I'll sleep downstairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So tomorrow, what we need to do is prepare for the masquerade and be ready to equip ourselves in a stealthy manner and be prepared for anything. I have a feeling this will be a very eventful masquerade.
Do we have our costumes?
Not yet.
I thought we. Oh, did we not pick them up?
Yeah, I thought we got him.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
I thought we did everything. We're ready to go.
Oh yeah,
We got
yeah.
all our stuff.
You got
Really?
it. Sure.
Yeah.
I could have sworn we did
Yep.
because
Yep, you
I
got
thought
it.
Sylvie paid for everything.
You got him. Even if you didn't, retcon. You got him.
If we didn't, we did now.
Yeah, I think they were delivered to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then I asked if there was anything else, and she was like, "Oh yeah, there's this letter, and that was what told us to go to the museum thing."
Right.
Because we talked to the chick at the front desk.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
I'm like 100% sure we got all of our costume stuff.
Okay, we have all of our costumes.
I'm 110% sure.
Alright, so again, I think I'm gonna be extra explicit with what I bring, just to make sure we're all on the same page when it's time to set out for the masquerade.
We did rest, by the way, right?
Yeah, you can take a long rest. No horrible disasters happen while you sleep.
I don't know, man.
You never know.
Okay, you awake the next morning and congregate in whatever area you choose to.
Oh, what the hell's that chick's name? Dude, my notes are all over the place because I have them in like separate notebooks.
Which check? Maybe the DM can help you.
My date.
Pearl Seastar?
That's her name. Pearl Seastar. I'll write it down so I don't forget it this time. Pearl Seastar. What a lovely name. Lovely. Just fantastic. So, we have some time to burn until this evening. I don't know how long it's going to take the ladies to get ready, but our guards just need to
A very long time.
their guard wear. And then we need to go, I have to pick up my date. And then we have to rendezvous at the,
Didn't they say that they're supposed to be there pretty early?
I think that they had said that they would pick them up like a little after in the afternoon.
Yeah, like 4 or 5,
Yeah.
something like that.
We're getting picked up?
I think
The
so.
ladies are getting the where you left it. The ladies are getting picked up, and the intention was that old Sir Leonidas was going to pick up Pearl.
I'm pretty sure this dude's gonna stand me up, so... I'm gonna be sad, crying elf in a hippo costume.
right.
Hippo elf, my favorite.
Oh.
Do we have any kind of comprehension of like what you need for an invite?
We have none whatsoever.
You haven't really asked around.
Okay, because I know Scoots and I have Ganji and I have costumes.
We're assuming that we can bring our guards with us. That's the idea.
Well,
We're
I thought they don't let
rich
guards in,
people.
Correct.
right?
Correct. The personal guards stay outside of the ball.
Well, shit.
So we got the costume so that
That was not my intention. I was gonna try to get them to go with us, as we are rich people who need protecting.
Can we, like, game time switch to cater waiters?
What?
to what?
To cater waiters?
What does that have?
People who
Like
waiter.
a waiter for hire? You
Cater
pass
waiters.
over.
Oh, yeah,
Jesus.
alright. I've been known to pick up a job on the
It's,
side and
it's
then not
called
show up.
it's
Good.
called the Wedding Crashers
It's
plan.
definitely you.
Well, we'll figure that out. We have plenty of time. So we'll eat, we'll,
The problem with the waiter thing is that, you know, my thought process was if we can get them in as bodyguards, then they're fully armed.
Yeah.
Even if we're not at our full strength, namely me without my awesome rapier.
But
That-
mostly me.
Yeah, mostly. It's all about me, obviously. So that's my only concern. I figured if I was not at full strength, at least the rest of you would be very close to it.
Yeah. I mean, I can at least cast spells because I did get my
Correct.
alternate divine focus, so I don't need my shield to cast. But so I.
I mean, are we going into this thinking that there's going to be like a full-on like battle in the middle of this masquerade?
I think it would not pay to assume otherwise.
I think we're being a little aggressive.
I'm expecting Orpheus to show up.
Well, no. What did he write in his little book? Let me look.
Oh, you found your
He
notebook.
said it was like not a nighttime switch from nighttime or something.
Yeah, switch to daytime. So
That
he's
doesn't
probably
mean he
gonna.
won't show up and try to destroy us.
The side of the inn explodes.
Actually,
What did DM God? What did he say? He said, Langrish the tailor. You gotta talk to him. Consult Diadra. Blah, blah, blah. We already did that. Got fucked up.
The Alchemist avoid at all costs, switch our attack to daytime.
mm.
What does it mean?
That he probably
I
wants
really
to
don't
avoid
think-
the Alchemist at all costs, and he's going to switch his plan to daytime. But that's just my guess.
But
yeah,
it's-
if
From the wording that he used.
So we don't even know if he's necessarily avoiding the masquerade, per se.
Well, but he's saying avoid the Alchemist at all costs. So there's something going on with the Alchemist that he doesn't want to be around him.
So he's probably not even going to be there.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
No.
he can find out information from the
No,
town.
of course. I just mean.
Wait, you're saying that Orpheus won't be there, or the Alchemist won't be there? Because I'm betting on most of the serpents to be there.
Which one's the alchemist again?
Alphonse. LeBlanc.
Oh.
He's the one throwing the masquerade, if I remember, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have not like interacted with him yet.
Not directly.
No,
Okay.
we have not. We've only interacted directly with Vito.
Correct.
So,
Let's spell it out.
I want to take my ram costume out and see if it'll fit over my armor.
You take out the costume. It is not meant to be worn over plate armor. It was size appropriately for you without to be worn underneath armor, or rather not underneath armor, but to be worn without preparation for battle.
Can you put your armor over it and be like a battle ram?
Yeah, I was gonna say for my ladybug, can I like take off the antenna and the wings and like attach the antenna to my cool goggles and the wings to the back of my armor?
You can try whatever you want.
So, I think my plan will be maybe put all of our gear into the bag of holding. And then, how big's the bag of holding? Would it be like super? I don't even know what it looks like. Would it be like super suspicious carrying this bag of holding around?
It doesn't change its size based on what's inside of it.
No,
it's
I
like
know,
a
but-
tortoise.
It
So
was.
is it just a giant burlap sack?
It's not a filthy burlap sack. It's a leather bag and it has straps. It was, if you remember, it was originally worn as or fastened to a giant boar mount by nobles. And
Could it be something that I could theoretically like tie around my neck and like put my beard over to
No.
like, cover it?
Absolutely.
Wait,
I mean, you can try. I mean, but it's definitely bigger than like you have a bushy beard. It would look ridiculous. It wouldn't be this subtle at all.
Could we make it look like a fancy? Do we have any kind of magic to make it look like a fancy sack?
We have illusions.
okay, concept. I
A la
go
Sylvie.
full armor, put the bag of holding around my neck, and we make it look like I have one of those like neck down like little guy costumes. Like put little legs and little arms on it.
On the filthy sack.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
I think it might be.
It's up there, but it's not the worst.
And just for clarification, in case this isn't super clear, that the idea is that they're not full like wacky animal costumes. They're outfits that complement and use the same color scheme and have the same design principles as the mask that you're wearing.
So they're still like they're
It's
formal
not,
clothes.
It's still formal clothes. Just you're not
Right.
wearing like a Halloween party city like a goofy hippopotamus costume.
I was picturing mine as like the ones that have the fan in it, and it's like Like a big, like, blown up bow? Is that not what's happening?
No.
Well,
I want to go as sexy Ebola nurse.
Love it.
You don't know what Vanders doesn't know what Ebola is. So.
Oh, my fault.
But no. Another problem is we don't have invitations. Even if we dress up, how are we going to get into the ball?
I mean, I was banking on this whole thing as you just get in with us, so my fault.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just gonna let that strange drunk gnome who's taking me, I'm just going to let him know that we're taking both Farnham and Carlisle. It would not do for a lady of my stature to be at presence alone with a man without her chaperone. So.
Agreed.
I'm also not farting, it's just the chair.
I
If it
swear.
makes you feel any better, I can't hear the chairs, so maybe they can't either, but who knows?
Just letting the world know.
Not to be the devil's advocate here, but we could knock out your dates and take their invitations, I suppose.
I actually don't hate that plan. Annulin's date kind of scares me a little because he kind of seems like he could be evil or mean or strong, but he could just be a bum. And we know the other guy is definitely a bum.
Do you even know that we need an invitation to this?
I was under the impression that we did. I don't recall though.
My
I
only
have to assume you would. It's in a fancy
I
part of
think you just
town.
made your image to create fake invitations.
I like that. We could try to forge them. I have forgery tools.
What if someone like tries to take the invitation from you though? Doesn't it
I mean,
disappear?
they would
Like the
have
forgery
to, they would
idea.
have to discern that it was an illusion.
if they look closely to read what the name
Well,
is.
I'm saying I could give him mine and then keep the illusion and just be like, no, please don't touch my invitation. And I'm nobility, so they're not going to
Don't
touch me,
we? Wait,
hopefully.
they already have invitations, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they get something in the mail?
Yeah.
So, Vandrus, if you have a forgery kit, could you just give it the old
1-2?
skidoo?
That's my middle name, the old skidoo. I am proficient in my tools of forgery.
Can I help him in any way?
I would say if you take your time, Vanders takes the morning while you guys do what you're gonna do, and he like seals himself out for full concentration. You
Shit,
can
I'll take
roll
8
with-
hours if I have to.
You can roll with advantage. On
Okay.
this.
So my question is, and Rich, if you've got the player's handbook in your
Yeah,
hand there,
and
you want to help
you
me out
have
here?
you have guidance for this, by the way.
Okay. The other thing is, I think as a rogue, and I may be wrong, so just tell me if I'm wrong. Do I get double proficiency bonus in things that I'm proficient in?
Just the ones you choose.
But so if I wrote down thieves' tools proficient, tools of forgery proficient, does that mean that I?
Chose those?
You just add your proficiency to the roll, so you don't double.
I thought there was like a rogue thing I got that gave me double bonus in proficiency things.
We'll say for now, we'll give you double proficiency, and we'll assume so, and then we'll fix it later once we figure it out.
And guidance. You have
And
guidance.
What's guidance? Is that a
If you
plus
fail
1d4?
this somehow, I am going to be
Yeah, it's so you have the advantage plus
double proficiency
You
plus
don't.
guidance.
You don't.
I don't. Okay, that's
So
fine.
double proficiency. But what are the names on the invitations going to be?
So they should not be Carlisle and Farnham, because those are our guard personas.
Try not to be our guards.
They don't know who our guard personas are.
It's probably fine. These are going to be so well forged, nobody's even going to look twice at them. The same thing for
Yours is Carlisle Jeb, and his is Farnham Blockwood.
Perfect.
perfect.
No, he's Carlisle Blockwood, and I'm
Farnham Jeb?
no Farnham Redshirt.
Okay,
Nick
that works.
Redshirt.
Okay, so wait, alright. Is guidance a 1d4?
Yes.
Yep.
Alright, so I get roll with advantage, plus 3, plus 1d4. I'm feeling lucky, boys and girls. First roll of the night, here we go. Not bad. I got a 17, plus 3 is a 26.
You take your time, and it probably takes you about 2.5, 3 hours to perfectly forge invitations, but for Carlisle Glockwood and Farnham McRedshirt.
This is the best idea we've
And
ever
they
had.
look very convincing, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
I just hope there's no list they're comparing their names against.
But if anybody asks, you both have to say that you came together.
Yeah. You simply must be mistaken.
No. You simply must.
So we still haven't addressed our gear and what we're going to do.
I'm not incredibly comfortable going in without armor, but I can contribute at least in some way with just my amulet.
So here's a real question. What does our armor class drop to if we take our gear off?
Oh, mine's down to like 11. It's awful. It's 10 plus dex, I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
So
So
we
you
haven't-
guys won't drop much at all.
Yeah, ours is only like a couple.
I lose like 2 points then.
2 points
I think both
for light
of you
armor.
I lose
God.
10 points.
Yes.
All right, then I'm just gonna be
You guys
really.
lose 2, I lose 5. And yeah, Ganji loses like 10.
Cool.
I would have to shield of faith myself.
Okay.
It still only gets me up to 13.
All right. Well,
Who's counting?
So, I mean,
Go on.
I'm just thinking.
You're thinking?
Yeah. I'm very
Alright.
small
Alright.
as a gnome. But my dress is very large.
As in who?
I have a bustle on my butt that's like ruffles. I could hide the bag of holding in my butt ruffles. If that helps.
Does that check out? Size-wise?
how big's that bag? Yeah.
It's 2 feet by 4.
Or can we put it in Annulin's butt ruffle? Does she have butt ruffles in her
I
hippo?
don't know.
In her hippo dress?
I heard when we put it in Annulin's butt.
I should have known that's what you'd hear.
I'm gonna object as a lady of the wood. Yeah.
Of the wood?
Of course.
Token
course.
word.
Lady of the wood.
Can you pass me the player's handbook?
What was that?
She says she objects to a bag of holding in her butt ruffles.
I'd say that with like while you have at your disadvantage to all dexterity related things, I would
Go with
say I would say that you could probably try, and if you make like a sleight of hand check.
Okay.
Yeah, I could try.
So I will gently pack all of my armor and weapons.
Not now.
into
Oh, you
the-
don't want me to do it now?
No, I mean once you actually put it on again.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So do we know what time this is? Like, do we have all the information about when and where?
Can we switch dice trays?
It's on the invitation.
It's basically like at sundown.
Okay. I mean,
All right. So then I'm gonna just say right here, right now, the things that I'm bringing with me are my costume, my thieves' tools, Swedgen's letter and its contents, 2 daggers hidden on my person, and 1 potion that I have on my person.
Okay.
That's all I'm bringing with me.
do we want? Is there anything we need to do before this thing? Because we have the day still. Does moving up to the day mean anything to us that we can tell?
So I just remember that Sheamus's N is completely destroyed. We don't know much more about that. What time would it take to go down there?
It'd be like 4 hours round trip at least. It's almost 6 hours.
Yeah, I'd say about 4 hours round trip, depending on how long you take there.
That would be cutting everything close, considering it's probably close to like noon now after I forged the letters.
So I'm just concerned that we're going in blind. Somebody blew up his N.
I mean, we've got a
We have
pretty
no
good idea of
information
who
about
did
it.
it.
Yeah, no clues at all.
Well, minus the whole Kraken thing.
So while he's forging, can a few of us run down and just try to investigate the inn?
You could do whatever you'd like.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, like, He's done forging.
Yes, you can make it concurrent if you guys want to go.
Welcome to the beauty of Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, I'd say yeah. Let's do it.
You can certainly try.
Yeah, I'd like to go. So who's coming?
I'll go.
You go. I think that's fine, right? In guard.
In guard, in your full armor.
So we'll run down there.
You make your way hurriedly. Fortunately, it's a nice day. The sun is shining. It's a great day for a masquerade ball. As you exiting.
Sorry, just we avoid the circus because I don't want them to seize him and force him into the stable.
I put my hood up.
So
You avoid the circus. As you're leaving Noble Garden, you notice that there is an excitement. There's gaiety in the air. People seem to be running around all of the shops for last minute accoutrement to their outfits. Maybe some last minute invitations. As you're going down the main road to join the rest of the city, you pass several stagecoaches, several very well-dressed people on horseback and the like, entering the city, potentially visiting just for this, but there seems to be a lot of activity in Noble Garden and going into Noble Garden. You make your way through the city. Everything seems to be basically the same. It's a pleasant day. Everyone's going about their business in a normal manner, and you weave your way through what's it called? Widow's Watch to where you remember the Pelican's Perch being. You pass by the stable where Piccolo and Rambi are. They seem to be fine. Not being checked in, but you can see them. They are not horribly murdered. And you turn around the alley, and where the Pelican's Perch stood is nothing more than bits of wood and scattered pieces of stone and bits of cloth. Why don't you guys make... So basically, as you come around, there seems to be a perimeter set off of posts with some ropes tied around that you could imagine would have been left by the Sea Eagles after first investigating it. But besides giving it a strange eye, it seems as if this is relatively old news, as it happened 2 days ago. So...
Was it 2 days ago?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Or a day ago, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It would have been. Because it happened while we were fighting the Kraken, which was... And then it took us an entire day at least to get back.
Right. And then we went to bed. And yeah.
That sounds about right. Okay. So does everything look charred? Does it look like it burned down?
Make an investigation check with advantage because Rodak's assisting.
I'm looking at it too.
It's a good thing my rolls are complete.
Heavy
12.
Here you go.
There doesn't seem to be any charred or damage from fire. As you look around, there are bits of wood. There you see a few of the columns are still standing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the wood seems to be incredibly waterlogged, bloated, and as you poke around, it seems as if some of these boards that used to make up the inn, it looked as if they'd been submerged underwater for years. Covered in barnacles, covered in sea scum, covered in and just completely discolored and bloated. The scene seems to be dry, but it seems as if whatever remnants there were splintered and crushed it. And for whatever reason, the effect is this undersea decay.
Well, it looks like Vendrus is bad news for all his friends.
Ain't that right? I want to go around to where Sheamus's quarters were to see if I can try to find any kind of personal effects or belongings or anything.
As you step over the ropes, and I guess you had been investigating.
Yeah.
You notice that there really is nothing much left of personal effects. Anything is just splinters, shards of glass, bits of mugs here and there. Anything of value would probably have been picked clean by passersby and beggars and thieves. If it wasn't already destroyed and swept out. You can see it looks as if the floor of the inn had been like almost as if it had been hit by like a massive wave. Like it was strewn about.
Just to be sure, none of the buildings around it have any evident water damage.
Nope.
It looks like it just hit this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, just make sure.
Can we tell if it was like a single explode? Like, is all of it like burst in a certain direction, or does it more look like it was kind of systematically gone through and destroyed?
Unfortunately, due to how long it's been, you can tell that there's been a lot of cleanup and a lot of pieces of wood and bits thrown into the foundation of the inn. So you wouldn't be able to tell either way.
Well, is there anyone like shady standing around, like looking around?
That you can potentially kill.
Make a perception check.
Ooh, natural 20.
You find everyone within a mile radius.
25.
25. You look around and the street seems to be it's not super busy. It's kind of an off street, but there really seems to be no one shady. No one's watching you. Just people going about their day, doing normal stuff.
Well, it seems like we can conclude that the sea people did something to this.
We didn't have any belongings left in the inn, did we?
We took it all out, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you had relocated everything to the Whitlander.
Everything except Randy and Piccolo.
Yep. Well, does it feel like... Can we assume that it was probably some sort of magic by the Children of the Sea?
I mean, that's what I'm assuming.
I would say...
Did we see similar evidence in the cave?
The fact that you had been staying there for several days and it looked like a normal inn, and then you come back several days later, it's totally destroyed without being burnt down, and the beams and columns are covered in salt, scum, and barnacles and shit. It's not likely that they just came in with like shovels and tore it all down like 1408.
Oh, yeah. Great movie. Okay, yeah, I guess let's just head back. There's nothing more to really glean.
Yeah, I agree. I don't... Doesn't seem like there's anything of note to look at. Oh, wait. When I was there with Vandris, and we were looking at it, before we leave, I'd like to look at the alley where we saw that he had been dragged. Because remember, if I can remember like where the hole was, because remember he was like punched through the hole.
There's a little back alley.
Yeah, they Kool-Aid Man through the wall. So I just want to look at whichever alleyway that was, just to see if I can see.
Make a perception check.
Perception 20.
20. You look around and you do see that there is, with some difficulty, it looks like this alley isn't very much traveled. It does look as if there was some disturbance and scuffles on the floor, basically where the hole would have been. That looks a little bit more recent than what you had seen. So there definitely was activity back there, but of what nature you can't really tell.
Okay. And it doesn't look like it leads particularly to or from anywhere. It just looks like...
It's just like right back behind the Paladin
Gotcha.
Torch. Yeah.
Okay.
And would there have been... He must have neighbors, right? Are there any establishments nearby that we could like at least see if anybody heard anything or saw anything?
There is one cobbler shop next to him, and then a lot of it's residential.
Okay. I'm going to walk up to the cobbler shop and see if anybody's there.
I'll wait outside.
Okay. You enter the door. It just says, the sign that says shoe repair. This is
One
not
of those.
one of those kind of places. You go in and seems pretty dead. You see an older-looking halfling gentleman sitting behind a counter, looking sad and dejected. He perks up a little bit as he sees you, and he says, "Whoa, customer! What are you
How you doing there?
Need repair?"
No, unfortunately not. I saw this horrifying scene next door, and I was wondering, do you know what happened here?
Oh, well, do I know what happened? Oh yeah, I know what happened.
So what happened?
The inn's destroyed.
I see that. Were you around when it happened?
Oh, well, no, I was sleeping. I think it happened in the dead of night. I heard some angry voices. It happened a few nights ago. I heard some voices a little bit louder. I thought people were just had too much to drink. And then I heard a loud, like as if a wave hit the place. And all of a sudden, the whole side of my place was covered in water. I was bailing water out for days.
And it was just one wave.
It sounded like it, but all of a sudden, Sheamus' place was gone. Do you know what happened to him?
He's safe, fortunately.
Oh, thank goodness.
So do you know anybody who happened to have seen it?
Well, as soon as I came out and I heard the noise, everyone was running the other way. Everyone looked scared. I didn't see what happened, though.
All right, well, thank you for your time, and you stay safe.
Well, I'll try. You know anything going on? Any bad characters?
I would definitely keep your eyes open for big guys with blue tattoos. We think that there's something going on with the Children of the Sea, if you know who those are.
Oh, I do. I don't mess with them. I'm smart enough not to mess with them.
Then you'll be fine. I have a feeling.
Okay, I'll latch my door extra tight. That'll stop them.
Please do, and you have a lovely day.
Or you won't be okay, and that's just the end of it.
And goodbye. All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, you sure you don't want any shoes repaired? I'm also looking for work if you're good with a mason's hammer.
I'm a bit too busy to pick up an extra job, but I do appreciate it, and I'll let you know.
Oh, okay, thanks.
He's got a lot of jobs lined up already.
I must be going, so thank you for your time.
Thanks.
And so I leave, and I grab Ganji. I tell him that, and then we head back.
And I tell him that it looked like whatever they did, they came in the same way they left, so it's probably the sea cult.
Right.
Okay. Anything else you want to do before you guys head back?
I don't think so.
You make your way back,
No.
and nothing out of the ordinary happens. You make your way quickly. And why don't you just do a quick deception check, both of you, just for your gardish attire and aura.
14.
2.
Okay.
Oh shit.
As you hustle back into Noble Garden, you make it back without any kind of difficulty. But you do, as you are entering Noble Garden, you see that the presence of the Sea Eagle seems to be very heightened, as the nobility presence seems to be very increased. And so, as you're passing, Ganji passes without too much fanfare, but you see that one of the guards in particular takes a look at you, and his eyes follow you as you make your way into the district.
Okay.
Well, I guess it's a good thing we're not going to try these disguises for the ball.
Yeah, right.
You make your way back to the Whimsy and rejoin the group party.
So it's got to be approaching the afternoon, right?
At this point, it's probably approaching like 3:30.
We'll fill in the gang.
Yep.
Okay, gang's filled in.
So I don't know what we want to do about Sheamus.
I think he's probably fine. Just let him be where it is. I don't know, Vandris, what you want us to do with him, but I suspect he's probably safe by now. We can't hear you, Andy.
You're muted.
Can't be. It's impossible. Noble Garden is definitely the safest place for him. I think that even Even Orpheus would be foolish to attack the richest part of the city in broad daylight, regardless of what we have as notes. It wouldn't be easy for him to get away with anything. We're so close to the armed guards, and obviously this is the most guarded place in the city, so, indirectly I think this is probably safest for him. So he's probably fine.
Okay. So, does anyone have any other ideas of things to do until party time?
Nope. Not I.
I'm gonna start getting changed.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get ready as well. I hand them their forged notes.
This is pretty good.
Pretty good. It's the best.
I would never know. I would
Thank you.
never know.
The only problem is we only have one chance. They're not going to forget our costumes if they turn us away the first time.
I think we'll be all right.
Okay.
Okay. You all get ready, and it is approaching the hour where Leonidas would probably need to go pick up his date. Antonidas.
Oh boy.
One of the itises.
Who's Leonidas? Do I write his name down?
I think I've done that a couple times.
I thought it was one of your guys' dates. Actually.
Yeah, that's what I thought for a second. I was like, is that his name?
All right, I'm gonna go. I turn to the rest of the group and I say, I will meet you outside of the Masquerade.
Hold on? Do you want to put your sword in the bag?
Oh, we're giving that a try? How confident are we gonna not get this bag confiscated?
Honestly, I think if trouble happens, we need access to our armor. I'm completely worthless.
All right, I'm gonna leave. Is Sheamus near us? He's here, right?
I thought you guys were meeting up in your rooms upstairs, but he could be there if he's...
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to keep him in the guard quarters, right? I mean, he can just stay in one of our rooms. I think it's fine as long as he's in the inn. Honestly.
Okay. Yeah, let's
works
make him comfortable. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So we'll just say Sheamus is with us. I turn to Sheamus and I say, I suppose you haven't forgotten how to use I suppose you haven't forgotten how to use one of these, have you?
Okay, sorry, go again. I'm sorry.
I suppose you haven't forgotten how to use one of these, have you?
And you're handing Venom Spine to Sheamus?
Absolutely.
Okay, he looks at it. He's a little tired, but you see some strength come back to him as he grabs it and says, "Well, so it's a little more fancy and footloose and fancy free than I'm used to, but I can point to the pointy end at the bad guy."
That's exactly what I was gonna tell you. It's a good weapon. It'll serve you well.
Anything I should know about it?
I don't know if you'd be able to use its latent abilities, but it's very powerful and it'll serve you well.
Well, I appreciate it, and I hope they don't know where we are, but if I have to use it, I'm pretty scrappy in a pinch.
I believe you.
I kind of like kick Vandris's heel and I just look at him with like a knowing look, like, huh? Shouldn't, like back and forth. As if to motion, like, should we tell him about his destroyed inn?
You young people have all the new slang these days.
We do.
Did you just worry about we're using that weapon?
Oh, I got it. Thank you.
All right.
And he puts it by his side, and leans back and just observes.
Okay, so I'm gonna pack all of my gear into the bag of holding.
Okay.
So plate armor, great axe. Do I want to take my hammer and shield?
Regardless, I'm going to go pick up my date and meet you guys outside of the Masquerade.
Okay.
So head there as soon as you can, and we'll meet out. We'll rendezvous outside of the Masquerade.
And you guys know that the Masquerade is at the LeBlanc estate, which is probably the largest of all of Goldhaven. So Vandris makes his way to one of the residential areas of Noble Garden. He passes through. You see, once again, enormous, beautiful manors, beautiful houses, all sorts of incredible architecture. You find the address that Pearl had given you, and you see the woman sitting on her. She has a little bit of a porch coming out, and she's sitting fully dressed in what appears to be a beautiful white gown. And she stands up excitedly as soon as you turn the corner. You can tell that she's been waiting for you eagerly. Has not donned her mask yet, but it seems to be the aesthetic seems to be of a white and a black, and it's very elegantly made. She stands up. You see a server or a butler of some kind next to her, and she shoos him away quickly and stands there expectantly, waiting for you to come up the pathway that leads to the entrance of her manor.
Good evening, Pearl. How are you today?
Oh, I was worried for a second you had forgotten our date.
Oh, never. I offer her my arm.
Oh, gentlemen. And she takes your arm, and you guide her, unless there's anything you'd like to talk to her about.
Just, I hope you don't mind. We're going to be meeting the rest of my companions, so we'll have a nice group and lovely company for the evening.
Oh, friends, that sounds delightful.
They're lovely people. You'll enjoy them all. And we're going to rendezvous outside of the Masquerade before we head in.
Oh, wonderful. Where did you say you're from again?
Jesus almighty. Where did we say? These are my other notes.
I forget, where do you say you're from?
We named... Hold on one second, I'm sorry. Oh, God, I'm always so prepared, except for when I'm not. Where did we say that I was from?
What?
What?
Her date saw us dressed as guards, didn't she?
It's fine, it doesn't matter, she's real dumb.
She was probably, she was dumb and or drunk. So...
Cygnus? No, is that a place?
Yes.
I think we said it was like one of the far off east, some place that there was basically no chance that any of these bums would ever have ever been to.
Well, they would. It's the High Elf capital, but you're far enough away, and it's probably exotic enough that you'd be fine. Okay.
Oh, I'm from the noble High Elf capital, Cygnus, of course.
And, I didn't know that Cygnus was sending nobles all the way out to our quaint little city, which she says is it's like one of the largest cities in the world. Are you here just for the Masquerade or for official business?
Well, it's official business, of course, but once we heard about the Masquerade on this more or less impromptu trip, we decided we must go. Anyone will be there.
Oh, of course. Well, let us go. I'm excited to meet your friends.
I will lead the way.
And so you go off, and I guess, Vanders, do you want to describe the outfit that you chose out? Selected.
I chose, with the help of my lovely companions who are not currently with us, a costume that reflects the aspect of the bat, which obviously goes very well with my motif and the vibe that I'm going for as my character.
Okay. And so back to you guys. Vanders is making his way. You guys are getting ready. And so what are you guys gonna do?
Okay, so can I keep my cloak on, like, as part of the costume? The cloak of protection? Is that
You
at
could
all
probably,
possible?
yeah, you could probably wear it as a cloak.
Okay,
It
so
might clash a little bit, but you just have bad sense.
Don't I ever know. Okay, so I'm going to wear that, and the rest of it I'm going to actually keep in the room. I'm not going to put it in the bag of holding.
Okay.
So I'm just going to wear that and my divine focus.
So you're not bringing the armor.
No.
So if
'Cause,
it gets stolen, I'm the only one that gets fucked. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's basically, yes.
We're hedging our bets. So that's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
He says as he sweats a little.
I swear to God, if Sheamus steals my shit, I'm going to murder him and then you.
If Sheamus steals our things, then everything I've ever known would be a lie.
Okay, I'm trusting him. And you.
So I'm actually gonna not take my plate mail. I'm gonna take my scale mail
Okay.
I gave Richie ideas.
in the bag
Okay.
instead.
Oh, that's actually not a bad idea. Do I still have mine?
Yeah, we still have
Oh, yeah. Then I'll bring my old.
it. Yeah, we'll put our old mail or
You shove a bunch of scale mail into the bag.
Actually, Can I borrow your shield? If
Yeah.
You don't want it?
Yeah.
Okay,
let's do
yeah.
it. Okay.
The old Warhammer and your shield.
Okay.
Fucking man.
You guys got it. You put all your old stuff in there. You guys all getting ready? You're ready to go? Why don't we go around the room here and describe the outfit? Let's just go crazy.
Well, I wasn't there. But
Yeah,
I was
neither
told,
of us chose.
I was told that I would
You
have.
should know you're wearing it.
You're wearing
now,
it.
So I was told it was a ram mask, a beautiful ram mask. We all have masks. It's a masquerade, obviously. So I have a ram mask, and I'm not sure what it would look like. I don't know.
A ram?
You would know better, like what the whole costume would be.
So
He's
it's
telling you to have fun with it.
Yeah, would it be a brown? Maybe like a nice kind of like
what did you
brown.
order?
What's that?
What did you order?
I didn't order it. She ordered it. I wasn't there.
Okay. Well, it was a nice formal attire. The brown is probably the aesthetic, but with some gold filigrees in there, and it is a ram mask. You probably know that you wouldn't put the mask on until you were getting closer.
I wouldn't know.
Daniel.
Okay, so mine is like black pants and a black like nice cuffed shirt with a red like waistcoat and then red and black polka dot cravat, and then the hat is like okay, so since I'm a dragonborn, I have a snoot. So
A
like,
snoot?
yeah, a snoot.
That's so sneaky.
So it's not gonna just cover my face, right? So it's actually just like, so if my snoot is out here, it just goes over here and then has two little like tasteful antennae right here.
Only the most tasteful.
Only the
Tasteful.
Because when it comes to antenna, there's a lot of room for taste.
Well,
Not that tacky stuff.
Sylvie is wearing a dress of green. Her hair is piled high atop her head in green. Mixed throughout it are a bunch of leaves that she found walking around the town while everyone was out doing things. And her mask is that of a tree frog, or a leaf frog. So it basically, she just looks like a leaf with a frog in it.
With butt ruffles.
With butt
With
ruffles.
butt ruffles.
Also mixed through with leaves.
Nice.
Okay.
And I lift up her butt ruffles and I tie the bag of holding around her waist.
Why don't you make a straight dex check?
Oh god.
Just to see how well
I'll
That's
give
really
you guidance
naughty.
for this one, bud.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. I need a D20 and a D4.
And Sylvie is going to put her mask on before she leaves because she's incredibly excited.
It's cocked.
Why don't you not roll in that?
Nine. Yeah, this is awful. Why did I even use this? You stole my little tray. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Okay, you
15.
get
sorry.
it. You get it all nice and tight under the butt ruffles, and it seems to be very well secured. And you place it down, and it seems to be. You might see the little thing bulging out, but it's not that noticeable. Okay, Annulin.
You're muted. You're
You're
muted.
muted.
Oh, balls.
There
Okay.
you are.
Start.
I'm dressed as the powerful and graceful hippo. And I have a full, it's all gray. It's a big, poofy ball gown with a corset. And it has a little bit of sequins in it to make it look like water droplets, like I've just sprung from the river. And then I have like one of those little masky things that has like a little snort hole, you know, little nose holes. And then my little ears spring off of the mask. And I think that's it. Oh, and I'm just to go over what I'm bringing. I have my dagger tucked up in my junk, and I'm gonna wear my crown, my circlet.
Okay.
I got my dagger.
Okay.
Can I be wearing like a frock coat?
You know,
like,
we're
like a
one
brown.
foot
Yeah.
Truly majestic.
An elegant coat.
My frock coat.
Yeah, an elegant frock coat, I guess. Okay, that's fine. So, anything else you guys want to do before you make your way?
Oh, let's get this over with. Oh, I'm bringing potions. I'm bringing both of my health potions.
I only have one.
I'm also bringing my health potions and my lions in a purse.
Oh,
Is that period accurate? Do we have purses?
Yeah, you should have a little pouch.
Probably
Okay.
a little
I'll bring a
hand.
pouch.
Yeah, I'm assuming we have that. So I'm gonna have my divine focus, cloak of protection, and 2 health pots.
Would it be reasonable for me to hide my 2 health pots and my war horn in my coat? Or would I have put it in the bag of holding?
You would have hiding your war horn in your coat now.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. What else do you want to hide?
Could I? No. Just health potions.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So I have health potions on me.
Yeah.
And my goggles.
Okay.
My fancy goggles.
Okay.
Or I'm not wearing them, but they're in like a pocket or something.
Okay. Sounds good. So, as the rest of this party goes down, without fail, you see 2 gentlemen waiting by the front desk. The forest gnome gentleman is wearing a...
I'm so excited.
it's a muddy brown looking outfit. It seems to be pretty well made, despite him looking a little bit disheveled still. He's kind of swaying a little bit as he puts a flask back into his coat pocket.
He knows it. He knows how to appreciate it.
And he has the messy brown hair that you had seen is all slicked back with about a gallon of gel or other materials that would be period
Pomade,
yeah, whatever you want to do. And next beside him
What's his outfit though?
Oh,
brown?
Yeah. It's a brown. It's also actually similar to Rodex. It is a coat with a pretty tight vest that he seems to be almost bulging out of.
Mine can be gray.
And he has a very gaudy silver chain coming out from one pocket to another, and you see he's holding a mask that seems to be looking like some kind of muskrat or something.
The
Some
muskrat
small
frog.
rodent. Like Wind in the
Perfect.
Willows.
Perfect.
And so beside him is the tall, slender elven gentleman, the high elven gentleman. He he seems to have been unwillingly stricken up into small talk with Barnabas, and he's trying to placate him as Barnabas is talking to him. He has his hair also pinned back in a nice bun with a beautiful looking, like almost platinum looking hair clip, and he is wearing a brilliant red outfit. It's almost looks like a red tuxedo with a white coat coming down, or a white vest coming down, and a what seems to be a green cravat, I guess, that he has. And so he's waiting, and he is holding what seems to be a mask of a parrot-looking thing.
Gross.
So, a gross parrot muskrat is way better.
God. Someone
Let's
with
rock and
no
roll.
imagination.
So,
obviously.
as you come down the stairs, he points like, "There she is! See, I told you I had a date."
Sylvie just glides forward froggishly.
"Hey, I remember you.
I'm surprised you were drinking heavily.
I haven't blacked out in at least a week.
I am so impressed.
Shall we go to the ball?
Yes.
That's where we're going, right?
Don't worry, I'll lead the way.
Good." And so he goes out with you, and then Eldorain, if you remember, that's the gentleman's name. He meets you, and he's also his hands are very close to his person, and he nods at you and he says, "You look very nice today."
I hold out my hand and say,
You see him fight back a grimace.
quote.
You see him fight back a grimace a little bit, and he nods and kind of like half shrugs. They usually have pretty good music here, so I think you'll enjoy yourself. And he grabs your hand, and you all abscond to the down into Noble Garden.
We'll follow respectfully behind.
Are you guys guards?
No,
Oh.
just if nobody's asked, we'll just go with them.
Yeah, we're not gonna like butt in on their conversations, but
We're just a couple of guys going to the Masquerade.
We're just a couple of guys going to the ball. You heard it. You all heard it.
You all heard it.
You make your way through Noble Garden, and the streets are buzzing. There's crowds of people with elegant, elaborate outfits. And as they turn the corner and go down the avenue which houses the LeBlanc estate, down at the very end, with walls almost as high as the walls of Goldhaven itself, with a huge gate, which you may have seen previously in your travels throughout the city, but closed up tightly. Now it is open wide, and throngs of nobles are heading in very excitedly. As people are turning, you kind of get the gist that people are then donning their masks as they turn down the avenue, and so you see that your guests are donning their masks, and I guess you guys will do that.
We'll do the same.
Okay, and you make your way, and as you go through the gates, you see forged out of metal along the gates, you see two halves of the word LeBlanc over the gates as they've swung open, and this seems to be an old manor, but the metal seems to be relatively recent. But from what you remember, that LeBlanc is from Ogway, and so this may be a newer residence that he's purchased. And so you see that similar to Vito, which you thought was very, very elegant, this estate almost not visible behind the high walls. Once you go through the gate, you see what looks to almost be a keep. It looks to be a castle, almost a smaller castle, complete with turrets, but beautifully crafted, elegant. Does not look really like it was made for warfare, but it looks like something out of like a Disney movie, like a Cinderella's castle, almost.
Wow.
And there is a long, winding road through gardens in order to get to huge entrance doors that are also thrust wide open with this warm, inviting glow coming out. As you make your way through the gates, you get this strong scent of the sea, and the sea air has been replaced by this beautiful scent of perfume or incense. You can't really tell exactly what it is, but it's this beautiful floral fragrance as you make your way into the gates. As you approach the rest of the group approaches the entrance of this beautiful building, Vandris is there with Pearl. You see, however, basically every several feet is a heavily armed, helmeted sea eagle at very high alert. You've seen them kind of at various different states of alertness. They're very much regimented, standing on lookout, looking around and being very watchful. And the presence is incredibly increased, and the security is very tight here. So you all meet and congregate and introduce everyone's guests and all of the formalities. We can do that for the sake of
So we find Vandris.
You find Vandris, and you all basically right outside. Nobles are excitedly rushing past you to get in and to enjoy in the parties, as the sun had since set and the moon huge starts to rise above the horizon, the distant horizon, and it's a beautiful night, moonlit night with the stars very well visible, and it seems like a great night for a party.
Okay, can we see people like going? Where do people go in? Can we see like what's going on, like what the protocol is for getting actually like presenting invitations if that's a thing or whatever?
So as you make your way, there's a series of stairs with these huge doors that are open.
Okay.
You are able to make your way up into the stairs, and you see that there is a foyer or foyer area, and there seems to be a familiar face waiting, flanked by sea eagles, essentially funneling in. It is the young lady who ran the Alchemist shop in actually in a beautiful dress, and she's actually made up, and she actually looks quite a lot prettier than you would have guessed, given what you had seen. And she's looking around, checking invitations, and you can see that people are handing her invitations as they're making their way into the ball.
Just remember, we're all disguised.
Yes.
Nobody can see
Yeah,
our
but
faces.
I'm still a bronze dragon.
True. True. You are correct. I have no retort.
So what do we think?
Well, we should proceed in. Remember, everyone, let's just try to have a good time. And I look to the gang, give them a little wink. Let's just all try to relax and have a good time.
I agree.
Let's head in.
go.
Present your tickets. And remember, just pretend like you own the place.
And I'm gonna try to like stand really close to Sylvie just to kind of cover as much of in case any little bit of bag shows. I'm gonna try to like block her
Okay.
from vision.
Okay. Why don't you make a deception check with advantage?
Her or me?
Silver.
Deception.
Yeah.
21.
Okay. So the people without the forged invitations go first.
Before, or go ahead. Just before Rich and I go in, I want to try something.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Pearl is the one with the actual paper invitation. She hands it to the young lady, and she looks at it and says, okay, it's fine. Have a wonderful time. And so passes you in. Eldraine and Barnabas both hand their invitations, and she accepts it without any kind of. She looks at it and makes sure that it has the appropriate seal and the like, but she lets you guys in.
Is there a quiet corner somewhere? It doesn't have to be closed.
So you see that there is, towards the back of this foyer area, that there are two hallways, a door on the right and a door on the left that go off elsewhere. Mm-hmm. These are also guarded, but the room is so huge and lavish that you could probably find a place closer to the front of the building, but off to either the left or the right, that would be a little bit more quiet depending on what you're trying to do.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cast a spell, enhance abilities, to give us advantage on charisma checks.
On all of you guys?
On just Rodic and me.
Okay. You could probably find like a little place to do that subtly.
Okay, I'd like to do that, because
We need it.
fuck this
We
shit.
need it.
Okay, so that's this is gonna be a third level spell of Eagle Splendor, I think it's called.
Yeah, you got something.
So we have. Let me just make sure how long it lasts. Yeah. So we have advantage on charisma checks for the next hour.
Okay. Great.
And it's concentration?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you know the components of that?
It's VSM.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's-
Okay. You could probably whisper it and mutter it a little bit, and
Yeah.
no
And
one really notices.
I have my
yeah.
focus on me, so that
Okay.
should be fine. I just have to pat him on the shoulder because it is a touch spell, and hopefully that works out.
Okay. Great.
Good idea.
So you
I feel so charismatic right now.
you go up
Like an eagle.
behind several more nobles that have filtered in after the rest of your party, and it's the same young lady and Mina, and she says, "Oh, invitation, please."
Hand her our invitations.
She takes, looks. She takes. Oh, did you not bring any dates?
We did not. Was that a requirement? It doesn't say
no,
here in the
no,
invitation.
I'm sorry. And she hands it back to you.
Thank you.
And she looks up at Mr. McRedshirt. And he says, "Oh, that's an interesting Dragonborn name. I didn't know there were going to be other Dragonborn here."
It's an uncommon name to be sure, but I've traveled a long way, and it's.
Did you say other Dragonborn?
Oh yeah.
Who else is here?
Who else might you be referring to?
Oh well, I mean it's a masquerade, so you got to find out yourself.
I guess that's true.
Right.
I guess I'll have some masquerade puzzles to figure out then.
She hands you back the invitation, and the seagull step aside and allow passage.
Victory!
Thank God
All
for the
of
road.
all of you make your way into down a small hallway, almost crowded by other nobles as the party is just starting, and the music hits your ears as soon as you're about halfway down this hallway of what seems to be like almost a full orchestra playing this beautiful waltz music. And as you get closer, you smell intoxicating heavenly food. It's like, Scooby-Doo when he smells the Scooby snacks and he lifts them up. It's that good. The smell of what also smells like strong spirits. It seems is combining with this formless. It almost seems not natural, almost magical about how delightful this room smells. As you make your way, you see this very well lit banquet ballroom, and you see the orchestra off onto the far wall. There is a massive table along one side, along basically to your right along the wall that you guys are coming in from. On the right side is a huge staircase going up to a large doorway, internal into the manor somewhere, and there's a huge buffet table with all sorts of foods that you could possibly imagine. This is probably the nicest spread that any of you, I guess, probably would have ever seen, including Vandris, who seems a little bit more traveled. And on the right side, right hand side, there seem to be large groups of nobles crowded around certain little spots. And as you look a little bit closer, and you see that they're surrounding what seem to be casino games, and you see people excitedly throwing dice and cheering, huge sums of gold being passed around. You see a chip exchanger where people are getting chips. People are already well into their evening as far as food and alcohol, but people are having a great time. In the center is this huge dance floor where all sorts of nobles from seemingly all around the world are dancing to the music. And I guess there is also a door on the ground level that is closed off from you, and then obviously, as is the tradition, there are seagulls basically around the entire perimeter, almost as if they're just fastened every several feet to the wall, observing the party. But the party seems to pay them no mind. Everyone is shrouded in relative anonymity. Some people are even wearing hoods, depending, whether it's covering their ears or horns or whatever it is, but for full anonymity if they prefer. So everyone is talking loudly, not really caring if anyone hears them or to judge them for what they're saying, as they're wearing masks and people don't know who they are. And so you are emptied out into this glorious, extravagant party.
Did you want to do something? Vandris, you're doing this.
I was saying, don't gamble. Well, so I think, personally, I'd like to have a good time with my date, but mostly eavesdrop on people. I would like to just keep my ears open and see if I hear anything interesting while we're milling about and enjoying the spread.
Okay.
Sylvie's gonna turn to Barnabas, and she's gonna. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Well, as you know, I picked you to be my date because I like you for you. So feel free to go drink and gamble to your heart's content. Don't worry about me.
Oh, that's the nicest thing anyone ever said to me. Usually, women just like me for the money that I give them to like me.
Well, I like you because I think that you're adorable when you're unconscious.
That's the second nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
She's gonna lean over and she's gonna give him a kiss on the cheek, and she's gonna say,
Go have fun, darling. I'll see you later.
He like Elmer Fudd's like, and he gets really red, and he says, "I'll be sure to gamble away twice as much money for you."
I sure hope so.
And he stumbles off towards the table games.
I'm such a charmer. He's eating out of the palm of my hand.
anybody else?
I mean, we still have dates with us, right?
Yeah.
At
Yeah,
least Daniel.
Daniel spells a date.
Eldraine beckons to the dance floor as he kind of almost a smile almost perks up on the corner of his lips, and you can see he's almost entranced by the music, and he offers his hand and says, "Shall we?"
Okay.
He grabs your hand and whisks you off to the dance floor, and you enter the throng of dancing nobles as you dance around.
I'm gonna follow with Pearl and lead her onto the dance floor.
Oh, thank you. And you.
So while we're dancing around, I want to just, in casual conversation, ask him if he thinks he recognizes anyone in their costumes.
You're asking that to Eldraine?
Yes. Yeah.
So you can ask that in character. As he's leading.
I'll get there. Sorry.
As he's leading you, why don't you make a performance check just to see how you're doing?
How is your dancing?
Yeah. Does that mean like if I'm stepping on him? Let's see. That's a 7.
Oh boy.
Okay. He is grimacing as you're stepping on his feet a little bit, but he's trying to be graceful about it, and he says, "You don't get dancing much, do you?"
I don't. I'm so embarrassed.
It's okay. I didn't expect much from a wood elf. That's fine.
You're a wonderful lead, though.
Thank you. I'm pretty good. Thank you. You can see that his ego has been puffed up a little bit. As you ask him if you recognize anyone, he says, "Well, we just got here, but I'll keep an eye out. And I usually stick to myself when I'm in town and stick to Ophelia's. Are you looking for anyone in specific?"
Oh no, just making a game of it, I guess. Where are you when you're not in town?
I'm back and forth from Cygnus.
Oh, one of my companions is from there.
Oh, is that so? Do you think I know?
Yeah, Vanders is over his shoulder going.
Do you think I know?
I couldn't say.
What's his name?
What's your name?
Antonitis.
Lord Antonitis.
I can't say the name sounds familiar, but there's obviously a lot of us. But I'll actually no. You introduced him. Actually, you're right. Never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh yeah, Antonitis. I know Antonitis. Yeah, that's we talked about it. I'm sure the whole way there. As he's leading you, he points out that, well, actually, that gentleman over there is Reeve Brockman, the little awkward-looking kid with the what mask did I give him? With the boar mask. That's Reeve Brockman. He's one of the Silver Serpents.
Oh.
So So you'll be able to keep an eye out, and they all come if you're interested in some of the wealthiest people on the planet. That's pretty
My
cool.
goodness. How exciting. So while we're dancing, I kind of nod to Vandris over at the... What's his name? Brock?
Reeve Brockma.
Reeve Brockma. Okay. So I nod over to Vandris to take a peek.
It's not Drachma, it's Brockma.
You look over and you see a. He seems to be concerned. He appears to be human, from what you can tell from the outfit. He's wearing a relatively simple mask of a boar, and his outfit seems to be a lot larger for him. He's by the food table. As you're kind of making your way, he's picking out some bits of food, filling his plate, and he looks pretty unassuming, but he's alone, and the people really don't seem to be paying him any mind, and he looks probably considerably younger than any of the other serpents that you've seen.
He's a human?
He's a human.
I love this guy's music.
Anything? Anybody doing anything else?
I'm strictly keeping my ears open while we dance, just to see if I hear anything interesting.
Why don't you make a general perception check?
Certainly. I rolled a 17, and my perception is really low. Just kidding. It's actually pretty high. 25 total.
25 total. And what kind of things you're hearing people, mostly everyone is talking about the evening and the present, because it's a masquerade, the anonymity is a thing, so people are kind of just more talking about a good time, they're talking their dates, it's a little bit more sappy. You have some people talking about like trading routes and investing and that sort of thing, but is there anything in particular you want to listen out for?
So, two things. One, I sent you a Facebook message several weeks ago over the last few sessions. We've talked about this before. There's one thing I'm always listening for. The other thing is just anything that would stick out amongst the revelry. So things that might pertain to Orpheus, things that are not lighthearted, people who seem to be, not enjoying themselves with the revelry. Something that would stick out. You know what I mean? Like anything that would be unusual, that could potentially be Orpheus related or Kraken related.
Okay. And what did you roll in perception?
25 total.
Okay. So you continue to dance around and keeping your eyes and your ears out. How about you guys?
I was going to go to the banquet table.
Okay.
Still kind of doing a similar thing to Vandris, just listening out.
Yeah.
Basically listening. I would mainly be listening to see if I can hear anything about any current events, someone saying, "Oh, did you hear about this thing that happened in the city?" Particularly things that might pertain to what Orpheus has done.
Okay.
If he's made a fuss about some particular place in the city or something.
Okay. Why don't you make a general perception check?
Okay. Not great. Not great at all. 7.
7. Okay. Sylvie Rodex?
Classic.
Sylvie's doing an interpretive dance on the dance floor.
Okay.
By herself.
Why don't you make a performance check?
Roll to break it down.
Oh no.
Is this a 7 or a 1? I have to actually look and see if I can find the 7. I think that was the 1. Yeah, that was the 1.
Great.
So her performance check, hey, it doesn't have to be good, she's still doing it, is an 8.
Is an 8. You are doing the most interpretive, keyword interpretive, postmodern, modern art dance that you could possibly fathom. There is a huge, circle of nobles around you, but they're not looking at you dancing. They're kind of trying to get away from you. So you cleared out in the center of the dance floor.
Perfect.
Place for yourself and your weirdness.
Desired effect achieved.
Desired effect achieved.
So I'm gonna go make a plate of food,
Of course.
and I'm want to look as nonchalant as possible, but just sort of do the thing where you're like walking through the party, but you're like, I want to like basically kind of go through and try to get the lay of the entire, basically everything that I have access to, whilst looking for Orpheus.
Okay. You roll a general perception check.
Yeah,
25.
You guys are rolling really well for me.
Some of us.
So, you make your way, trying to look at, and why don't you're trying to like do it nonchalantly, not like.
Yeah, I just want to make it look like I'm not just like busting through, like investigating. I want to kind of like just kind of saunter and eat and maybe drink while I'm just kind of like keeping my eye out, looking for purple tieflings and just trying to see sort of anything suspicious or just I want to kind of have an understanding of like the entire party.
Okay.
The map.
You do see a number of tieflings, and none of them seem to be Orpheus from what you can tell, but you see horns peeking out. Some are reds. You see maybe one purple tiefling, but it's a female. You get the gist that there is the main entrance hall door that you came out of, with stairs that go down. The huge staircase that goes to the right. That's another door that goes off into the manor. And then to the left there are another closed doors. You're not really sure where that goes. And then after looking around, you do see that there are two smaller doors by the food and by the gambling, and you see help going in and out of those. And also, as you curve your way around towards the orchestra, you see there is a small little entrance to a back room by them, but behind the stands where they're all sitting.
So basically nothing we haven't observed before.
Basically,
is it all one room? Is it all one big room, or are there multiple rooms?
It's all in one huge room from what you can tell.
Okay. Got it.
How many people are at this party?
There are hundreds of people here. This is an enormous room. There's tons of tons of table games, tons of different tables with alcohol bottles and huge bowls of punch that you're like, who knows what that's spiked with.
So, do we notice any other, I guess how do we know that they're serpents, but did I see a dragonborn?
You do see what look to be two dragonborn that are there.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So we discussed before, like, dragon colors, and, like, the dragons that are, like, the primary colors are, like, inherently evil, correct?
Well, they generally tend to be more evil. They tend, at least for like the dragons.
Does that go for Dragonborn as well? I mean, like, is that?
You know that Ganji is a metallic dragonborn, he's a bronze dragonborn, and his people are in a centuries-long war with chromatic dragonborn.
So we might have like a turf war on our hands right here.
Did I see what color they were?
Ganji's about to throw down.
You can see that there is one. They both appear to be male. The one seems to be a little bit larger than the other one, and that one seems to be a blue dragonborn. You can see blue stairs.
It's on. It is on.
Oh, jeez.
Like Donkey Kong.
His mask appears to be what seems like an elephant, and there is the one beside him seems to be a green dragonborn.
What is he?
And that is a bear mask.
Classic chromatic dragonborn. It's always them with a mammal envy.
Seriously.
And not quite the insect envy. So you see that they are chatting with what appear to be human nobles. No one seems to be.
They don't seem to be taken aback that they're chromatic.
No.
Okay.
Where are they in relation to me? Because I'm gonna try to kind of keep my distance from them.
They're by the kind of the alcohol section.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just gonna keep my distance from them without obviously doing so.
Okay.
But just kind of not engaging.
Okay. As Vandris is making his way around, you do hear a familiar voice. and you turn and you see
Red
in
Vandus.
a very large man in a brown, beautifully designed brown outfit, not from his standard red. Huge red mustache comes out from behind what looks to be a walrus mask. And
I love it.
Yes.
And you hear him talking excitedly to another person about something about honey gold and the Feywilds.
What does he say about it?
How excited he was to have an official seal of the Bear King coming to his museum, and that he was planning on a Feywild exhibit, and that you could probably guess that he was hitting up this person to be an investor.
Interesting. And I heard this?
Yep.
How far away is he?
He is. I mean, as you're kind of dancing around, Pearl is still dancing with you, but he's probably a good 5 feet behind you as you're passing him on the dance floor, basically.
Okay. All right, so we've located Vito.
I was definitely expecting that to be the person whose boat we destroyed, but that's alright.
She wouldn't be here, luckily, right?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Oh, jeez.
You don't know.
All right, so I make a mental note. So now we know 2 of the serpents and what they're wearing. I'm not going to approach him. I'm going to continue to enjoy my night with Pearl.
Okay. As you're dancing, Pearl stops for a moment and says, "Oh, I think I need a beverage."
I would be happy to go fetch that for you.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna go sit over here, and there's an area with plush, comfortable seating with rich velvet upholstery.
As I make my way towards the beverages, can I try to spot Rodek?
You spot Rodek. He's probably around that area at that point. He's probably closer to the gaming tables.
I'd like to pass by him as I go to get the drink, so I can speak to him.
Okay, you guys speak.
Rodek, walrus mask. It's Vito.
Oh, nice. Good to know.
And I keep moving.
Okay. I just nod, and I'll go up to the gaming tables and I'll gamble.
Okay. So you approach the gaming tables, and you see that there's a variety of games.
This should be good.
You see that there's a variety of games that have been provided. You see on the felt of these tables, it says the Mon Ami. And you could probably guess that these were provided by Silas Belliver, who is the one of the major casino providers in the area. You see a game called Bone Rattle, which is a 25 gold buy-in, and all players roll 2 dice. Players that hit 7 or 12 win 2 times their bet, and after the first roll, you can double down your ante for another die.
It's 25 gold.
25 gold buy-in.
Holy moly.
Okay.
These are high stakes, guys.
What else we got?
How much gold do you guys have on you? Because remember, I have the bag of holding on my
I have I don't know. I had all that platinum that I found. Pirate gold. Does that count?
You mean the stuff that you put in the bag of holding?
I would have some money on me. We all have.
That's what I'm saying. We should figure that out.
Okay. Yeah, we probably have like a couple hundred gold each, I'd say. Right?
You probably each have like 150 gold on it.
Okay.
Sure. Why not? Then you then see that there's a game called Crab and Kraken, which is a 20 gold minimum bet. Players place any amount of gold. You see on this felt there is a grid of numbers 1 through 6. You place any amount of gold more than 20 on the table on that square, and then the house dealer rolls 3d6. If 1 die matches the player's selected number, they win 1.5 times their bet. If 2 dice match, they win 3 times their bet, and if 3 dice match, they win 7 times their bet.
Oh my god.
That's a very popular one. You also see a huge.
I have to put 20 gold on one of the numbers.
Yeah, at least 20.
Okay. Could I split it up? Can I split the gold up or?
20 on number. High stakes, man.
Okay.
You see a huge spinning wheel, and you find out that this is called Yulongi's Roulette.
Ooh.
It's a 5 gold minimum bet. Players place any amount of gold more than 5 on a 4x5 grid, numbers 1 to 20. And players may also bet on the getting odds, evens, high, low, in each row and column of numbers. So it depends on the odds of what you want to do there, of how much you win. There's also a game called Pull Dagger, which is 10 gold blind, and this is more of this is a card game. And so you see a lot of people, high stakes people pushing in chips. They're all looking at each other with eyes of bloody murder. These are 10 gold blinds, no limit. And each player, and this is to simulate, each rolls a d8 and keeps it secret. One player is designated the dealer, and all players starting with the left of the dealer are given the option to check, raise, or fold. Once a full rotation is finished, all players roll a d6, also kept in secret. Another rotation of checks, raises, folds. All players roll a d4, again, also kept secret. Then another round of checks, raises, and folds, and then you reveal the highest total wins 80% of the pot, and the house takes 20%.
Oh, wow.
And then those are the main games that you see.
Okay. What, So Bone Rattle is what? 25 gold buy-in.
How much is Jack worth? Can we put him on red?
Who?
Jack.
Oh.
He's hanging out on Kelp.
Remind me what Bone Rattle is again?
Bone Rattle is, hold on. All players just roll d6s. Players that hit 7 or 12 win 2 times their bet. And after the first roll, you can double down and add an additional d6 to that roll. If you want to try to hit it again.
But then you're rolling 3d6 and still trying to hit 7 or 12.
So you only win on 7 or 12.
Yep.
And okay, I think I am going to play. Let's play Crab and Kraken.
Okay.
Because it's the
It's the easiest one. So I'm gonna put 20 gold.
All right, I'm gonna mark off. I'm gonna need the pencil for this. If you guys are.
Do we have the map of Goldhaven here? Okay, 20 gold down.
20 gold.
The house dealer, and what's your number?
My number is going to be. It's a 1 through 6, right?
Yep.
Let's do 2.
2?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna roll here. You lose your bet.
Oh man, let's do it again.
Okay.
What do you
Rhoda
do?
puts out another 20.
Hold on.
Another
Goodbye,
20
money.
gold. What's your number here?
I'll do 2 again.
2 again? You win 1.5 times that.
Oh, see guys, I get 10 gold back.
So now you've lost 10 gold too.
So I've lost 10 gold
So
total.
you got 10 gold back.
So let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Okay.
This is a real pain in the ass for me.
I'm thinking I can jack of it. Hey, I'm even.
So you didn't lose anything.
I didn't lose anything. Okay, I'm gonna play one more time. One more time.
What are you doing here? What are you doing here?
I'm doing 20 on 2. Let's do it. Let's do it.
You lost 20 again.
Okay, I'm done. I'm cutting myself off. I'm negative.
So we're down 20.
We're down 20
You have to
gold.
be down more than that.
No.
You
I
won twice,
lost,
twice.
and then I got back up to even, and then I lost.
And then he lost his bet.
He lost once, which lost him 20. He won 10, won 10, made back, which makes back that original 20, then lost another 20.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's so much better. So you only lost.
I only lost 20
Yes,
gold.
yes.
Oh, okay.
That's how this always goes. Okay, I'm gonna cut myself off.
Rhoda,
That makes me feel better because
Rodent
I had you
gambles.
down significantly more than that.
Oh, Jesus.
You, as you're leaving the table, you see a gentleman approach you. He's a human. He appears to be in a green suit with a nice coat and a vest. He's wearing a top hat, which is also green, and he's wearing what seems to be a snake mask. He has a gray mustache beneath his nose, and you can't really see much else as he approaches you. He puts his arm on your shoulder and he says, "Oh, come on, there's always more money to be won."
Well, I'm aware, but given that my look's not the best, I feel like it's a good time to cut myself off. I didn't bring a whole lot. I'm not quite as well endowed as others here.
Question.
Yep.
Has Rodek ever heard this voice before?
No.
Okay.
Have I seen him before?
Nope.
Well, he's wearing a mask.
snake mask, so
All right.
he grips your shoulder a little tightly and he says,
Why don't you have a few drinks over at the table with the spirits and come on back? We have the best odds in the world.
Do you? What's your name, friend?
Well, there's a bit of supposed to have an air of anonymity, but I guess if you're willing to come back, name's Belliver, Silas Belliver.
Oh, the name's Rodek. Oh, well, great to meet you.
Rodek.
Yeah, hi.
Just hope he doesn't ask for your invitation and you're fine.
So, what kind of Rodek? That's an interesting looking sounding name. Where do you hail from? How do you find yourself? Your pocket's heavy with gold.
I'm up from the Beaver Creek area, if you know it.
Oh, I've gotten plenty of girls from up there. I know the area.
So I did a bit of prospecting. Happened to hit it relatively big. Had good luck in mining, but gambling not so much.
Well, everyone can turn their fortune.
That's true.
flashes a huge grin at you and says,
Why don't you have a few drinks and come on back, and the Silas Belliver will be waiting, and all of these wonderful table games for you to win your fortune.
All right, we'll do. It's a pleasure meeting you.
If you don't do that tonight, then stop by the Mon Ami.
All right. I'll see you there.
he leaves his grip on your shoulders a little bit long and then he lets go.
Creepy.
Thank God I'm wearing a mask.
You told him your real name.
Yeah, well, he doesn't know who I am. So I go over and I'll get a drink. Why not?
Okay. You see a wide variety of spirits. There's huge kegs full of beer, if that's your preference.
How much is he spending?
So
Are they charging for drinks?
they are not charging for beverages. This is an open air club. Obviously
Wonderful.
complimentary of Monsieur LeBlanc. And there's there doesn't seem to be a dwarven gentleman behind the bar. He pours you a heavy stout, and in a very elegant glass. But he hands it to you.
I'm not used to this, but I'll take it.
Rodek takes 4,000 poison damage and dies instantly.
I'm resistant to poison.
Okay, so 2,000.
Only
It
2,000.
still dies
It
instantly.
still does.
Rodek violently explodes, killing the entire party.
It tastes very strong, but it is absolutely delicious. It seems to be. He leans in his hand like, that's imported all the way from Magnia.
Ooh.
And
Does
so-
it taste familiar?
Tastes like a good dwarven
Okay,
dwarven
good.
stout.
Ooh, I
would
haven't had
say.
one of these in
But
quite a
it's-
while. Thank you.
He shoots you a wink and a thumbs up. That's what dwarves do, apparently. So you make your way back out. So you hear Vito, and you pass around. So are you just kind of keeping your eye, just keeping your
Me?
keeping eyes and ears out for all of you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of waiting for... So my question would be, how long do these usually last?
You're not sure, but you would probably guess that it would last well after midnight.
So basically, my plan for the course of the session is to carry on like normal. Obviously draw as little attention to ourselves as possible, and basically just do reconnaissance.
Unless you're Sylvie.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, Sylvie is the social tank of this situation. She's tanking all of the information, all of the interest off of us and all that.
So, Vandris, what did you roll?
I got 25.
I thought you rolled a 27.
No, 25.
Oh, 25? Okay. Still good. You are... As you're keeping an eye out, you kind of notice that the nobles are... they seem to be generally talking about frivolous things. You hear a lot of talk about gold and money. Nothing that you're really kind of not relating to your main goal of finding Orpheus per se. However, as you are making your way, you do see one of the sea eagles. You see something slightly off a little bit beneath the helmet, and because you rolled 25, you look in and you see a bit of a blue tattoo coming out.
Son of a gun.
From the helmet of one of them.
Okay, how far away am I from Rodek and or Pearl?
You Pearl is so the guard is on the far end of the room. Rodek is probably a good 20 to 30 feet, not too far, and Pearl is probably a good 80 feet and just sitting down on a plush couch.
With the drink, I'm going to pass by Rodek on my way back to Pearl.
Okay.
Rodek, we've got company. I say, I motion to the guard that I saw and say, he's got the tattoos.
Oh, shit.
And I keep moving, and I head towards Pearl.
Okay. She takes the drink from you and says, "Oh, thank you. I was parched. Oh, this is delicious."
I'll look for, I guess, Ganji. I'll try to look. I guess you didn't tell me to relay this information, but I'll try to look for somebody and try to relay that information.
I mean, it's a given. You're not going to keep it to yourself.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to. I guess we'll walk around and try to find. I don't know if he's going back to Pearl, and since I'm alone, I'll go and try to find everybody and relay that information.
Okay, you make your way through the crowd, looking inconspicuous, and you pass off the message to all your guests. It's not difficult to kind of blend into the crowd here.
Mm-hmm. I want to meet back up and pass Vandris again. This is getting suspicious, but I want to just walk up with a drink casually and look as if I'm jovial. Are you with Pearl at this point?
Yeah.
I walk up and I say, "Ooh, come have a drink with me," and I just try to pull Vandris away, holding my drink, just standing next to him briefly. And I say, "So we've seen 2 of the serpents so far.
Correct.
Have you seen any others at this point?"
Not that I know of.
So, what's our plan? Do we want to at least introduce ourselves to this other guy? And I kind of motion over to the muskrat, not the muskrat, the boar guy. Is there any benefit doing that?
I don't think so. Not at this point. Do I know? I know it's Reeve, right?
Yeah. I guess did Annulin relay the information?
We were all there at that point, right?
I nodded. I pointed him out when we were
She
dancing.
nodded to Vandris, and Vandris relayed. Yep.
So then, no, I don't think that Reeve can help us. He's basically king of the fishing and crabbing area. He's a seafood merchant. King of the merchants essentially in that area. But I don't think he can help us at this point.
All right. Well, just want to let you know, and trying to figure out if you have any plan besides just waiting and learning.
I'm worried there's more than one. That's the issue here.
Right.
Did you think that there was another room that was blocked off from the main room?
So there is a doorway that's closed. Yes, it's blocked off. It just seems to be as heavily guarded as the rest, but it seems as if it might go to a different area in the estate without being part of the party.
Or is anybody coming and going or passing through it?
Nope, it's just a closed door.
What's it near? In the room?
It's basically in between a huge swath of the gaming tables and then also all of the beverages.
Okay. So I want to just excuse myself from dancing and go over to the beverage table near that door and get a drink and listen to see if I can hear anything behind that door.
Okay. You excuse yourself, and Eldraine nods. You see him quickly take the hand of another person and start dancing as soon as you head off. And you you grab a drink from the table. There's a large jug of wine, this ruby red wine that they pour for you, and hand you a chalice of it. And it smells absolutely delicious. You make your way to this door that's closed off, and make a perception check.
Sorry, 25.
25.
A lot of 25s.
You listen very hard. It sounds like you hear the wood is very heavy, but you can barely hear the sound of what sounds like a man's voice shouting.
Can I understand what he's saying?
No, it's the wood is very thick and the music is very loud. So you are able to hear the sound of an angry man's voice shouting.
Anybody else? Any like responding voice?
It does not sound like that. It just sounds like one voice just yelling.
Okay. So I kind of who's closest to me in the room of our party?
Probably Rhoda.
Okay. I just want to kind of casually, walk over and tell him what I've heard.
Yeah, I think that's Jack.
Yeah, sorry. He's snoring.
That's awesome. So you go and you meet up with Rhoda. You relay that there's sounds to be angry voices in that direction.
Okay, I'm just gonna stay very near Sylvie while like just keeping an eye out at the sea eagles.
Okay. As you keep an eye on Sylvie, you see that young gentleman that I think that you were pointing out as far as Reeve Brockma. Mm-hmm. He steps through the crowd and into Sylvie's dance circle, and he's holding a huge plate of food, and he says, "Well, hello there.
Sylvie just keeps dancing.
I love your dance moves."
She just keeps dancing.
You wouldn't expect it. He looks down kind of nervously and looks back up and he says, "I brought you some slices of roast pig if you want."
She just keeps dancing.
As he stands there for probably awkwardly longer than he should have, expectantly, he says, "Oh, okay, I'll eat in the corner." And
So as he walks away, she goes, "If you want to dance, you can come back, but I don't have time for your food." And she just keeps going.
He turns his head and says, "Oh, I'm no dancer." And he goes and turns around and goes back away to sulking
keeps
off.
dancing.
That's
Oh,
awful.
Jack.
Did I witness any of that since I was close by?
You may have caught on.
Sounds
She has
like
no
roast
idea who this person is coming trying to give her pig. She's a frog. Frogs don't eat pig.
I'll go up to him and so if I witness this, I'd
Yeah.
go up and I'd say, I'd try a little taste of your pig if you'd like.
Oh, I love it. So it's a good pepperoni. Here you go. He hands you a circular slice. And he says, "Oh, it's all over there. So you should get some yourself. How do you like it?"
Oh, does it taste good? Does it taste
Yeah,
like the
it's
best?
absolutely delicious.
Oh, this is the
Imported.
best. What do you call it? Pepperoni?
A pepperoni. Yeah,
I don't
nice
think I've
slice
ever
of
had
pepperoni.
that. Okay, I don't think I've ever had that before. It's delicious. It's wonderful. Any cured meat's good with me, honestly.
Oh, I'm glad I meet a fellow connoisseur of good food.
Yes. I like pretty much any food, but good food especially, for sure. So did you? I saw you offered the gnome over there this nice pepperoni. Are you interested in this gnome?
Oh yeah, no, I like her dance moves a lot.
Do you? Then why don't you go on and dance with her?
Oh no, I can't dance. I just thought I'd win her with pepperoni.
Let me tell you, I think anyone
could dance if they just tried. You don't have to be good. Nobody cares. Just have a drink and get out there.
You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind you.
You could.
Make a persuasion check.
And how does Eagle work?
Oh, it's probably been an hour, so it's probably gone. Has it been an hour since we walked in?
We'll say this is the end of the hour.
Okay.
So you have advantage.
Oh, nice. Holy shit, that's good. Will you say persuasion? 10.
10. He hangs his head and says, "No, I'm no dancer. Mr. LeBlanc says it's better not to talk to strangers anyway."
Oh, do you know Mr. LeBlanc?
Oh, yeah, no. After my parents died, Mr. LeBlanc took me in and took me under his wing and taught me how to be a real silver serpent.
Oh, so you're saying you're a silver serpent?
Oh, I guess this is anonymous. But yes, I am. I don't talk to people very often.
Oh, that's
Mr. LeBlanc
very
said it's not a good
interesting.
idea.
You're awfully young for a silver serpent.
Well, on account of my parents dying,
I'm very sorry to hear
I
that.
know, it's terrible stuff, but what can you do? It is what it is.
It has, well, I'm very sorry, but it seems you're doing very well for yourself at this point.
Well, I didn't learn nothing. My parents died, and here I am.
Well,
Are you okay?
Yep.
you right?
Yep. I'm
So, anyway, so I'm sorry about that, but you mentioned Mr. LeBlanc. Is he here? I feel like we're in his house, but I haven't seen him around.
Oh, no, he always prefers to make a grand entrance, even at a masquerade.
Oh, is he, does he do that? I guess it's already quite late at this point, right?
Oh, the party hasn't been going on that long. It'll probably be soon.
All right, well,
You'll know it.
okay, well, do you live in Noble Garden here?
Oh, yeah, of course. I live in my parents' house.
Okay.
Well, I guess it's my house now. I guess I inherited it. That's how it works.
That is how it works. Well, let me get you a drink, and maybe we'll build up to the courage for you to go dance with that noble over there.
Oh, Mr. LeBlanc says I shouldn't drink. I really shouldn't.
Does he not drink?
Oh, no, he drinks. He just says I'm too awkward when I drink.
No, you'll be just fine. What would you like?
Make a persuasion check.
Is it still an hour?
No. Yeah, fine.
Fine.
This is the last one.
17.
17. He says, "Well, I guess I could have one drink. What's that gonna hurt?"
All right, I'll surprise you.
Okay.
So I go and I'll get myself a drink and I'll get him whatever seems like tolerable,
Okay.
but like as you know, like something really like sweet or like just something that's like really easy to handle, but like it's still strong.
Okay. You find a bowl of like a fruity punch that seems to be like the weakest thing that's there.
Okay.
And so it's probably tastes like, grape juice or something.
Okay.
So you pour him a glass of that.
And I want to. Okay, that's fine. Does it like I'm gonna smell it? Does it smell strong enough? Like, is it gonna do anything to him?
Yeah, it'll probably. He's a little guy.
Okay.
He's a little guy.
Okay. I'll walk up and I'll give him the drink.
Okay.
Here you go. Drink up.
He has
Cheers.
a drink and he drinks it. Oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah,
Tastes
I
like
told you.
So it's refreshing, I guess you would say.
No, you would. I would agree.
I would say it's refreshing.
All right. Well, anyway, why don't you drink and I'll be right back and I'll introduce you in a bit.
Okay. He said, "Oh, thanks. No one usually talks to me these things. I appreciate it." And so he sees you.
Oh, hold on, friend. I didn't get your name.
Oh, my name is. Well, I guess I shouldn't say, but I guess you know that I'm a sort of Reeve Brockman. I guess you could say.
It's great to meet you.
Good to meet you too. It's good. You want some more pepperoni before?
Sure, I'll have one.
Okay, I'm gonna go eat this and drink this awkwardly in the corner.
Okay.
He goes off. What are you guys doing while this is happening?
I think we need to try to alert, this is just me out loud, alert Alphonse of the intruder. potential intruders. It would shock me that a man like Alphonse wouldn't know that there were intruders in his affair.
Do we have any idea what he looks like or who he is?
I don't know if I've ever seen him before. Would I know what he looks like?
You would have an idea, yeah.
Okay. Do I see Rodek talking to Reeve?
I would say that if they're talking a while, and you're keeping an eye out, so I would say you do.
All right, I'm gonna go over to Rodek and say that, Rodek, he may be our ticket to Alphonse, and I think that we need to talk to Alphonse and alert him to the potential threat presence here.
So I'm gonna fill him in and basically say, so I just found out that he's not quite here yet, and he always makes a grand entrance. So my guess is that he's not quite in the party yet, but we'll know when he joins.
If these guys are looking to do something to him, we need to be aware when this grand entrance happens. If these fake sea eagles make a move.
Alright, well, I can't do much, but I guess we could post up nearby, but that's the most we could do.
Okay.
So anyway, I say that, and then, do you think we just wait, or do we try to, barge in?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to wait until Alphonse makes his entrance, honestly. And if these guys make their move, then we move as well.
Okay, or hold on. He seems this Brachma guy seems to be pretty close with Alphonse. I legitimately trust him. Do you think we could level with him and warn him and try to alert Alphonse before he even shows up?
It's worth a shot. If he doesn't know when Alphonse is going to show up, you might not be able to contact him in time, but it certainly doesn't hurt.
All right, well, that's not a bad idea. Let's give it a shot.
Let's do it. I mean, you've talked to him the most. If you honestly trust him, if you have a good enough rapport with him, give it a shot.
Did I feel like I could trust this guy? Like, is he awkward?
We'll say you didn't really do an insight check on him.
Okay, well, I'm gonna walk up to him.
He's still standing in the corner, sipping on his punch.
How are you feeling?
Feeling like this is a really strong cup of juice. Let me tell you.
That's the intention. Are you feeling all right?
I'm feeling okay, I guess. I don't see why Mr. LeBlanc tells me not to drink this stuff. It seems not so bad.
Are you close with Mr. LeBlanc?
Oh yeah, no, I consult him on everything that I do with the serpents.
So let me just fill you in on something. I was passing by one of the guards, and I happened to notice a little something that seemed off. And my concern is that maybe some of these sea eagles aren't who they seem to be. I don't know why they would cause trouble, but...
Well, who would they be if they're not who they seem to be?
They may be people trying to harm either you, or Mr. LeBlanc, or someone else in this party.
Well, that doesn't sound very good.
No, it's not. It's not. So, do you know where he is currently? I feel like I wanted to warn him just to let him know, but I thought maybe if you know him well, maybe you could warn him.
Well, I'll go talk to Amalia. She's the one that runs the Sea Eagles anyway. I think Mr. LeBlanc will just get mad at me.
Well, so my concern is what if she's somehow aware of this? Do you trust this Amalia?
Oh, I would trust any of the serpents.
Oh, so she's a serpent.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess she is. Yeah, sure.
Well, that's good to know. I'm obviously not from around here, so may I join you?
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
Oh, all right. Well, if you
we just met. I mean, I'm already breaking a lot of rules by talking to strangers.
Well, I just want to make sure you're safe because there are some shady characters that are trying to pose as sea eagles.
Okay, well, good to know. I'll try to find Amalia and I'll
Okay,
I'll
well,
let her know.
thank you. Good luck.
Okay, and he puts his stuff. He
Well,
puts
we're boned.
he puts the alcohol down and he keeps his food with him and he shuffles off into the crowd looking around.
Okay.
So how'd that go?
I mean, all right. He's going to look for Amalia, who's apparently a seagull that I probably knew about.
Silver Serpent.
And do you know about Amalia?
Yes, I do. She's actually the serpent that's in charge of the mercenary services and all of the Sea Eagles.
Well, that sounds like the right person. He did
In
not want to go.
theory.
He did not want to go to LeBlanc for whatever reason, so I didn't want to argue about it.
Two things concern me.
Okay.
One, the fact that he didn't want to go to Alphonse is concerning. And two, this Amalia is leader of the mercenary services. Mercenaries can be bought.
Right.
So that's what we got.
That's what we got. Well, we just wait and see, I guess. Prepare for anything.
So where are Vandris and Rodek right now?
I would say Vandus and Rodek are a little closer towards like the gaming tables.
Okay, so I'm gonna walk over to them casually like a party, and then ask them, well, okay, do we want, how much do we think that Orpheus might actually be here?
I would say there's a high chance. I mean, it's a gut feeling, but high chance.
I could try to locate him magically. Do you think?
Why not?
Where were you 4 hours ago there, KG?
I can only do this once a day. It's not. It's not something.
It's late. You know, let's take our one shot here.
All right, I'll be right back. So again, I'm gonna try to find a secluded
Okay.
place just for this.
To
it's
mutter like a
just
like a
the
idiot.
span of 6 seconds, and I'm gonna cast locate creature, for Orpheus,
Okay.
which is scribe name creature is familiar to you. So long as you've seen the creature up close within 30 feet, which I'm pretty sure we have for Orpheus.
We fought.
As long as they're within 1,000 feet of you, we sense the direction to the creature's location. If it's moving, we know the direction of movement. Doesn't locate them if running water at least 10 feet wide blocks a direct path between me and them, and it doesn't locate them if they're under the effects of a polymorph spell or some other shape change spell. Which I guess is not like illusions, but is
Actually,
like,
If he was like a bat.
yeah.
You cast locate creature, and you reach out through the ether. You try to find Orpheus, and you do not get a read on it.
Okay.
And what's the range on it?
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet, but it's also a duration. So like it lasts a while on me, so I can like cast it and then kind of amble through the party, make sure I'm hitting at least the entire party space. So I would do that. I would cast it and then kind of walk through the party and see if I can tell if he's there.
Okay. Sounds good. So yeah, you're walking around and you don't really get any kind of read on Orpheus. You're the target of your spell. So you guys were talking.
Oh no, we're just waiting for the grand entrance to happen, right?
Or
So-
Amalia to show up.
Yeah.
And Rodek told Vandris what I told him, correct?
Yeah. I've been relaying.
But you didn't tell anyone else?
Oh, I didn't. No, that's a good point. No, so since then, I've only seen Vandris, and I've been near Sylvie, but she's been dancing, so I haven't talked to her really.
Well, I'm gonna go run up and dance with Sylvie and tell her what I heard behind the door. And say, Sylvie, these boys are acting slow. Too cautious for my taste.
Sylvie's just gonna keep dancing, but she's gonna be like, they always are. We always have to do everything for them.
So, what do we do?
Well,
not even in the room when whatever happened with the door because I don't actually know what it is. As Nick,
Oh,
I have
I'm
no
sorry.
idea what you're talking about.
So I was standing over yonder by the punch table, as you do, and I heard behind the door a man yelling. I couldn't hear who he was talking to or what he was yelling about, but something's going down behind that door.
Okay, let's go. And I grab her hand and start heading towards the door.
Easy as that.
Yep. And we're gonna we're gonna open the door if it'll open.
Should we get the boys?
I'm going to be like pretending like I'm overheated and I need you to lay me down.
Oh, I've danced so much. I need some quiet. I need some peace and quiet.
We're not near this at all.
Please lay me down.
And I'm gonna try and go through the door.
So the door is shut, and there are seagulls standing in front. As you approach them, they look down at you, and are you being carried? Is that the...
Yeah, she's like carrying me, and I'm like slumped, like all of my bones are like weak.
Remember, you have the bag on you.
Whatever. And I am, you know...
It is tough to plug holes, to be fair.
So I'm gonna have to look for it. And just, you know, being like very Sylvie melodramatic.
They block your way, and they say, you say that there's, that you need air. It's like, the doors outside are over that way.
I will catch a cold and I will die. I need to go into a room and find some peace and quiet.
And I am going to
Oh no.
cast.
Oh no.
While she's doing that, I'm trying to catch the eye of any of the three boys.
You manage to... You look or make a perception check real quick.
Okay. Actually, so I'm going to say,
Oh, it's outside? How far?
Right up in front of the manor there.
Take me out there, Annulin. Mademoiselle, let's go.
I got a 9.
So you guys make your way back out the foyer.
Yep.
If you remember that there's the huge doors, but there's also a very large patio area. There are a lot of nobles kind of chit-chatting around. There's a beautiful garden out in front where people are getting a breath of fresh air, enjoying their drinks. You kind of see maybe a couple, or who knows, making out with their masks still on, off to the side there.
so I'm going to look at Annulin and I'm going to say,
Want to do something reckless?
Sure.
Do you see any
and
of
so
this?
then I'm going to tell Lumi to go and tell each one of the boys in secret that we will be inside of that door. And I'm going to cast Dimension Door and I'm going to send Annulin and I directly inside of that room.
Okay. So Lumi zips around, invisible, and you each hear a pixie's voice in your ear that... So how does Dimension Door work?
So Dimension Door will send us 500 feet to a place that I know of. You teleport yourself from your current location to any other spot within range, which is 500 feet. You arrive at exactly the spot desired. It can be a place you can see, or one you can visualize, or one you can describe by stating distance and direction. You can bring along objects as long as their weight doesn't exceed what you can carry. You can bring one willing creature of your size or
And you can go
smaller,
through
but
doors.
we talked about the fact
Okay,
that
yeah.
I could bring a medium creature.
Okay.
And yeah, we can go through doors. It's just
Okay. Little pixie zips around to each of you guys. You hear the voice of which door that she's behind, or that they are going to be behind, and you quickly grab. And are you gonna just do this in broad daylight? Or are you gonna like try to go someplace?
We're gonna try and go someplace kind of.
Make a stealth check. Just
No, jeez.
Stealth is, let's see, 18.
18. So you go find a little hedge, and you manage to get behind it. You see what seems to be a young couple kind of scampering out as they heard people running away. The woman's trying to kind of pull up her corset a little bit, and you grab Annulin suddenly and Dimension Door back into the direction I guess you were hoping for, and you immediately you zip your location changes from being outside. You are inside, and allow a smell of perfume and makeup hits your nostrils, and both of you don't hear anything immediate, but you seem to be in a quiet, enclosed dressing room. You see a bunch of different chairs, mirrors, little palettes of makeup, all sorts of brushes. Exactly, kind of, it's not a huge room. And then all sorts of different bits of clothing, ladies' underwear, just kind of thrown about as if people had, you don't know who was getting dressed, but there is a number of seats in preparation. And you are alone, the door is shut. There's one door basically going back towards that door, if you had to guess, where that was leading.
Okay.
Well,
I'm like whispering to her.
I don't see a yelling man.
I swear I heard it. Maybe through the next door?
I mean, I believe you, but I don't see a yelling man.
So they're not in the hallway behind the door. They're in a room that's off that hallway.
Yeah, what was the range on that again?
500.
500. So basically, they're into the manor behind the door, but it's not exactly where the door would be.
Okay, and the door leading out of here is closed, correct?
It's closed.
Okay, so I want to go up and just listen at that next door.
You, as you listen, make a perception check.
$14.
14. Okay. As you put your ear up to the door, you hear this door is a lot thinner and it's very quiet in the room you're in. You hear the same voice that you heard behind the door. It's and this time it's a lot more clearly. And it says,
I motion Sylvie to come up and listen with me.
So you both are hearing this. Make them just perception check, Sylvie, just so we're squared away here. 15. So you can basically both be hearing the same thing, and you hear the same voice, but also kind of muffled whispers of sounds like female voices, multiple ones, and you hear the voice say, "Y'all look fucking awful. You think that Alphonse LeBlanc is gonna like you looking like that? You did a horrible job in there, but we don't have any time left. Get your asses up to his suite." And you hear kind of like, you hear a bit of a sniffle as you hear footsteps going past your door and off into, off and away from you.
Well,
I don't know. Do we hear, like, so after the gaggle of what I'm assuming to be prostitutes goes off, do we hear, like, the guy remaining, or footsteps moving around, or anything like that?
You hear footsteps get close to your door and then stop and then turn around, and you hear well, boss, we're down a little bit than we were expecting by this point in the evening. I swear to God, Leon, if you don't get those nobles drunk and gambling, I will stab you.
Leon, yeah.
And you do, yes, sir. And he,
You just missed Leon getting skipped.
you hear a quick hurried run out of the other in the other direction, and you hear a groan. He's like, "Ugh," and he walks off towards the direction of the gentleman that you can perceive to be Leon, as he makes his way, which you could probably wager is towards the party.
Do you think we should try to go further?
well, I think that we should, play around with this makeup, make ourselves look like harlots, and see if we can sneak up with those other ladies.
Okay.
So I'm gonna play around with the makeup and try and make Sylvie look like a harlot.
Okay.
Same.
Just make general deception checks, I guess. I don't know.
16.
Okay.
9.
9. You slather yourself with makeup, make yourself look as gussied up as possible, and you look pretty convincing prostitutes. And are you gonna change or just kind of apply the makeup? Okay.
Did we get out of our costumes? What do you think?
Your masks are no longer on if you're applying makeup.
Yeah, no, my mask isn't on, so I'm just kind of like tucking that away, but I'm gonna stay in my outfit.
Alright.
Okay. So you're gonna open the door?
Actually, I'll use my hat of disguise to kind of make myself look different, so I don't look like I was in a masquerade outfit, but the overall shape will be the same.
Okay. And you're just gonna wear.
I'm gonna toss on one of the costumes that's on the rack. Did you say there were costumes?
They're outfits. They look like a little bit more revealing. Look like prostitute outfits. Yeah, probably. You can guess.
Give me one of those.
Okay, you're gonna have to take some time to get changed. So it'll take you a while. Are you gonna just store your stuff somewhere like under a?
Is there a window or anything?
They have the bag of holding.
Yeah, we have the bag of holding.
There is.
Oh yeah.
No
I'm gonna put it in the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Okay. You manage to stick your hand up under Sylvie's butt rustles or whatever, and stuff it into the bag of holding. Your dress gets a little bit wrinkled and messed up, but you don one of the prostitute outfits, and you both look fairly convincing, what you would imagine at least. And are you gonna open the door?
Yeah, let's open. Sylvia's gonna open the door first to lead the way.
Just do a little crack and peek out first.
Okay, so she'll open it a little crack and peek out.
Make a stealth check.
15.
15. You see a lounge looking area. There's a lot of couches. It's a very dark, sultry vibe. A lot of dark reds and dark purples. All sorts of comfortable furniture, little tables to put drinks. The room is empty besides what seem to be seagulls stationed basically at every you see basically the door that Annulin had heard the angry voices shouting. They're stationed on either side of that. They don't seem to notice the door crack open, and you also see I guess it would be 4 more sea eagles at 2 separate entrances. One with a stairway, basically 2 doors next to each other at the far end. One that seems to be arcing up to the left, and one that seems to be going down underground to the right.
Okay, so I'm gonna stick my head out and I'm going to go at one of the seagulls, and I'm gonna be like,
Excuse me, Leon told us to hurry and get ready. We're needed at
I know what his name is. What's his name?
Alphonse or LeBlanc.
Mr. LeBlanc's room. You guys were down a couple of ladies, so we kind of got ready in a hurry. We're not really sure where to go. The other girls left before us.
You see one of the sea eagles turn. It seems to be another human, middle-aged. He walks up to you and he looks at you and just I guess he's probably about 20 feet away, and he says, you weren't on Belliver's list.
Yeah, they were down a couple of ladies. He said that someone was going to stab him or knife him or something if he didn't find 2 more ladies willing. So he threw us in here and made us get ready. I mean, we can leave if you don't need us. Like, this is terrifying.
Well, you should probably leave. No one goes up to Mr. LeBlanc's
So
chambers
why don't
without
you
being
talk
on
to
the list.
Leon, because I'm sure if he gets stabbed, you're probably not going to be well off for that. Whoever Leon is.
I'm not that concerned about Leon.
Okay, well, I'm going to go myself then. Thank you very much.
and I start walking towards the stairs to see what he does.
As you open the door and you see this lounge, and you see the seagulls stop and get in the way of the doors and block your path.
So you can either get Leon or you can get whoever employs Leon, but I have somewhere I need to be. Is that not your role, sir? I am trying to do mine as a lady of the night.
Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion?
Yep.
Persuasion.
20.
20. He looks around and he says, "Go get Leon." And one of the guards stationed by the door towards the party, you can hear the music coming through, and the roar of the crowd comes through, and he disappears. And comes back probably about, I don't know, 3 minutes to 5 minutes later with Leon. He's dressed in nice clothes, but he seems to be sloppy. He's shaking a little bit. He's sweating. He looks nervous. He's a balding man. And he says, "No, I don't remember seeing these girls. I don't know where you came from. I don't know how some more whores got back here, but I think maybe they snuck in trying to a bunch of gold diggers. You know what I'm saying?"
So I'm gonna look at him. I'm gonna say, "We were offered money for this job that we're doing tonight. Are you Leon?"
Yeah, I'm Leon.
So you're trying to tell me that with all of these seagulls here, that 2 random whores made their way into this room? So I should tell your boss then that 1, you're not paying us because you were a couple ladies short and we were told to come back here, get dressed as quickly as we could, and head on up. So we're not going to get paid, so I should tell your boss that we're not getting paid, that you have no idea what's going on, and that somehow your defenses with all of your seagulls here allowed 2 random women back here without your notice?
They're not my sea eagles, first of all, lady, and I know all the girls what work for us, and them girls that go up to LeBlanc's chambers are hand-picked. They come from they're hand-picked. They don't have any relatives. They're all drifters. Hand-picked.
Well, that's fine.
Perhaps a show of our talents.
Oh God.
No, honestly, my darling, it is fine. If they don't want our service, that is no skin off of my back. We can make money elsewhere, honey. Please just escort us out. That's skin off of your hide when he finds out that you let the 2 extras go.
Make deception check.
Deception. 14.
14. Okay. And he says, "Okay, get him out of here," and they guide you back through a small hallway, and you hear kind of the loud bustle. You see someone zip into a door, and the door opens up by that little door back by the table games. And so a pair of sea eagles escorts you outside of the manor and all the way down to the gate, and basically tell you to get out, and they leave.
Okay. So then I'll prestidigitation us so we look back to our normal selves, allow Annulin to get her stuff back out of the bag so we can head back in.
Okay.
Well, that sucks.
Worth a shot. We learned something interesting.
Okay.
We learned a lot of
And then
information.
once back in, Sylvie's just gonna head back out to the middle of the dance floor and start back with what she was doing before.
Okay.
I'm gonna gather the boys and just kind of relay what happened.
While that was happening, you notice Vanders, if you've been keeping your eye on, I assume you were keeping your eye kind of on the gentleman that you saw.
Of course.
You notice that none of the seagulls that were stationed had moved, except the one that you noticed. Basically, another seagull came out and talked to him, and then he was pulled back out of service.
Okay. So if Annulin shows up, we can all trade information.
Okay. So you guys all make yourself back up. Why don't you roll both of you roll deception checks, just for like getting or self checks, I guess, for getting.
I wasn't different. I just prestidigitation the makeup off of me, so I'm not sure if that matters, but
just for sneaking away and
what?
coming back in.
What
I got a
did you say?
16.
Stealth.
23.
Okay, so you guys managed to sneak into an alley, get yourselves ready. You head back to the ball. Mass dawned. No one seems to have noticed that you were those people. And so you make your way back into the group, and you congregate again.
That I mentioned. That I
You're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry. That seagull that I pointed out and mentioned before, he's moved. All the other seagulls have managed to maintain their post except for that one.
Did we notice any of the seagulls behind the door? Did we notice anything weird about them? Or notice anything like he did?
You did not seem to notice any kind of tattoos or markings like that.
Okay. So I just relay to them, what we saw behind there, as much of the layout as we could, the people we saw, the guards, Leon, all that kind of junk.
So,
I still haven't been able to detect Orpheus, right? Okay.
So, do you... Vandrish, did you know that LeBlanc was the whoring type?
Never could have told you that in a million years.
And I think it's also interesting that they're handpicked from drifters with no relatives.
Could be a safety precaution.
Or it could be that they don't want girls who will miss them, and they're looking for girls who won't be noticed if they're gone.
You think they're being held captive?
Or worse.
This is what I was worried about. This is what I mentioned when I said I'm not sure we can trust all of these serpents. There's some very powerful people who are able to get away with doing unspeakable things.
And it just makes me wonder if Orpheus wanted to stay away from LeBlanc not because he was a good guy, but maybe he's really far worse than we thought.
Yeah, but what does Orpheus have to fear?
That's a good question. Makes me a little more nervous than I was.
Well, in the meantime, did you see where the shifty seagull was taken?
He appears to have gone up back.
Which back did he go to?
He went back towards the direction of where the band was, and then you see a couple seagulls coming back out around as well. And you guys are kind of just huddled, mingling, looking like you're mingling, kind of chatting.
Yeah.
Situation.
I just want to make sure that I'm near where I left Brockman.
Okay.
I'm sure wherever this fake sea eagle went, it's probably somewhere off limits to us.
And I don't think we should attempt any more deception quite yet. Until we know what we're dealing with.
We're just kind of out of options here until someone shows up. I'm even more concerned now if Alphonse shows up that we could be in more danger, like you said, or if the leader of the Sea Eagles has spoken with Reeve. What will come of that?
So as you guys are talking, you see a human woman in what appears to be a lioness mask. She's wearing a very elegant golden dressed match, the lioness mask, and she is walking very purposefully to you. She has she seems to be about middle aged, but has a nice body. But there seems to be a level of purpose and determination and very rigidity to how she's moving. She seems to be approaching Rodak. And behind her is Reeve Brachma. She comes up to you and she looks at you and says, You're the man who alerted to the imposters in my guard.
Oh, I was indeed.
And what do you know about them?
I know that they're trying to cause trouble. I know that they've recently blown up an inn, and I know that they're covered in blue tattoos.
Yes, I know them of the cultists.
Yes, they are.
Thank you. How did you know that they had infiltrated our ranks?
My insightful friend over here noticed a bit of tattoo just behind the helmet.
What else do you know of the plans?
Well, of their plans directly, we don't know much of anything, which is partially why we are so aware and you know, being extra cautious. They could be up to anything, and we're very concerned.
And were you aware she just, pardon my rudeness, when I work I get very abrupt. My name is Amalia Theramore. I'm one of the Silver Serpents, and I am the captain of the Sea Eagles. There's a personal affront that they've infiltrated my ranks, and the fact that my officers not notice the cultists have been infiltrated. And do you have a moment to speak?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Are you all together?
We are, yeah. So what should we do? Okay, I'm gonna like basically drag, and I don't know, is Beaver guy around?
What?
Or Otter guy?
Reeve?
Muskrat guy?
He's drinking.
No,
Barnabas is at the roulette table.
Okay.
Losing.
I told him to go spend
I'm
some
dragging
time.
Sylvie. I'm dragging Sylvie with me.
Okay.
They made progress. And I grab her.
Sylvie gets dragged away. So she guides you, and then Reeve is kind of walking behind you, or walking next to you as you're following Amalia. She just, wow, I don't know why Mr. LeBlanc doesn't tell me to talk to people. I feel like a hero or something.
You've done great, lad. You've done great.
Oh man, no one ever says anything to me like that.
You're a good lad.
That's good. I'm excited. And she guides you behind the orchestra. They're still playing, and she guides you to a door that you saw them going in. And this seems to be where the guards are, the Sea Eagles are. You see sets of armor, a big rack of weapons, and some on break that have been relieved, and some people like looking over like clipboards and sheets of paper. You probably would guess would be going over shifts. And then she looks at the resting guards and the bookkeeper. Says, "Leave us." And so they immediately get out of the way. She pulls off her mask, and she has freckles and seems to be actually fairly attractive. And she has blonde hair pulled into a tight bun that goes up pretty high, so you can probably guess their hair is long. And so she says, "Okay, I hate this masquerade business." So were you aware? First of all, she stops herself and says, "What business do you know of them relating to Vito Velocity?"
None that we're aware of, I don't
So,
believe.
not directly related to, but we had some alone time with Mr. Velocinik, and we were questioning him into regards of what potentially they could be looking from him. We don't know that he's had any contact with them directly.
She gets a concerned look on her face and rubs her chin. And, well, seeing I should not be talking about this, but seeing as you're the only ones that knew about their plot, I should be thanking you. We got a tip from another out-of-place Seagull. Both of them were rookies, new recruits. And their skills as guards and skills in battle seem to be worthy. And they had both, though, however, requested to be put on watch at Mr. Velocinik's manor.
Wait.
Do you know anything about that?
Wait, hold on. Just out of character. So she's saying that the cultists were requested.
The two, they had found out one. They exposed one after that. You had someone was suspicious that had also requested to be a guard at Vito Velocinik's mansion.
Okay, got it. We were honestly just there last night, and we didn't see anyone. But the mansion was covered with guards.
Yes, he requested to double his security this morning. And I put a very strong detail on his...
And may have had something to do with us. Yes, we did warn him that it was There's quite a lot of danger going on in the city right now.
And what do we have to worry about? Have a good
Well,
day.
it's quite a long story, but the short of it is, and I'm going to be very frank with you here, because I believe that you take your job very seriously, and I believe that the safety of these people is of the utmost importance to you as it is to us. So that being said, we're looking for someone who we believe is incredibly dangerous, and we believe that he may be either working with or in some capacity with these cultists, looking for very particular and strong magic items, which is why they may have an interest in Velocinic.
And what does he want with such a magic item?
And again, we don't know too much. We know that it may potentially involve very powerful magics and other planes.
Her eyes widen a little bit, and she nods and shakes her head a little bit, and says, "Well, I've put trusted captains to go seek out and do a full sweep of everyone we've put on detail at the Velocinic Manor for the next several weeks, and I swear that we will out and execute every single one that we find."
So, speaking of that, we noticed that the one that he had noticed was pulled off duty. Was that your doing?
Of course it was.
Alright, good. I was worried he might be hatching his plot.
When Reeve, bless his soul, told me...
He's a good lad.
That's
I like the kid.
He seems to... yeah, okay. When he told me, I thought it was some of his daydreaming again, and once I took a closer look myself and realized that we had been infiltrated, I realized that something far larger was going on. And I'm perplexed that you have such knowledge and would question where you're from, but I don't have time for that. I need to get back to my men and command them and do a full sweep.
Before you go,
Yes.
not to pry, but do you trust Alphonse LeBlanc?
Of course I trust Alphonse. Who doesn't
Alright.
trust Alphonse?
That's all I needed to know.
And let us know how we can help in any way. We may not look it, but we're quite seasoned and we're quite able. So, especially the two of us, we're used to armor. If you need help on security detail, please do. Let us know.
She gives you guys a once-over and says, "You'd say you're skilled in combat.
Very.
Do they teach nobles where you're from the art of combat?"
Not everything is what it seems.
She pauses for a moment. I think that's fine. She pauses for a moment and says, "Well, that's perplexing, but I don't have time to deal with this. I will need to ask you more questions, and we'll discuss tomorrow. Where are you staying?"
We're at the Witten Whimsy.
"Very well. I need to go speak to my lieutenant." And she basically gives a call. "Come get them." And two sea eagles come in. And as you leave, you see that you see her reaching down in a slit in her dress, and she pulls out this gleaming sword with like a golden pommel that has what seems to be a sea eagle on the hilt. And she steps further into the manor to a door and slams behind them. And they guide you back out on to the dance floor. And that is where we'll end the session.
Okay.
Well, we're trying to stop now at around 11ish, so everyone doesn't stay up too late, and so I feel like this is a good place to stop. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We'll be streaming next Call of the Feywild, DM'd by Nikki here, on Monday. Wait, the 1st, January 1st.
That's Monday.
Next Monday, and then
This Monday.
Upcoming Monday.
New Year's Day.
New Year's Day, we'll be streaming that. So at around 1 p.m., it's going to be an afternoon session.
And then, unfortunately, I am on a plane to Orlando, and then we'll actually be at MagFest. At least the 3 of us. I don't know if Scots is going to be at MagFest. Okay, so the 4 of us here will be at MagFest. If anyone's in the DC area or is coming in for MagFest, great con. We'll be there. If you see us, come say hi. And so I guess we'll have to figure out when we're streaming this again. Since I'll be in Orlando, and we'll figure that out.
Yeah. So it'll again be another break, but then after we kind of ease into the year, we'll be more regular, and we'll be moving over to Twitch eventually in the next few weeks or month or two. So if you want to go over to twitch.tv/Legends of Evantris, or just search Legends of Evantris over there, give us a follow, just so you don't miss out on that.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Rex, you want to handle the signing off? And yeah, please remember to like our page if you like this, and if not, thanks for stopping in anyway. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time. Cheers.